everybody.
Hope everyone's doing well.
Yep.
Give you a little second for everybody to get in here and get caught up. But as you know, today we have a special guest. We have two of them, and they're from Pickled Steel. But we're going to jump right to it. We're not going to keep you guys forever and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them in, and we're going to say hello and get the ball rolling. Welcome.
Hey, Aldo.
Hi, everyone.
I think Miss Kelly is having some technical difficulties, but everybody, if you do not know, this is Mr. Aldo van Tonder. Did I say that correctly? Yes.
You did. Thank you.
Yay. I know I was asking him yesterday. I was like, okay, how do I say your last name correctly? So yeah, I'm happy that I aced it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're here to talk all things Pickled Steel today, you guys. So if you have any questions, while we're talking, we're going to be watching the chat. We're going to be throwing your questions at Aldo, and we're just up. And here's Kelly. Welcome, Kelly. Everyone say hello to Kelly.
Welcome back, Kelly.
Hello, Kelly.
Hello.
So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, just ask in the chat, and we'll throw them at Aldo, and we'll throw them at Kelly, and we'll go ahead. All right. So Aldo, I want to start off with you. Pickled Steel is such like a huge deal nowadays. You have so many knives out there under the brand. So tell me, if you would, a little bit how Pickled Steel came to be.
Well, thank you firstly for the opportunity to be here tonight. I must say, and to all of our USA knife fanatics, you guys have really accepted me, Kelly, the brand pretty well so far. So I'm really thankful for that. I see in the chat a lot of my South African fans and followers are also in here. So welcome to all of you. I'll give you a salute just now in our native language, so you can at least listen with. Just kidding.
No, go ahead.
Goeienaand almal daar in Suid-Afrika. Ek hoop julle doen goed. Basically, good evening in South Africa. I hope you're all doing good.
Love it.
So,
love it.
Yeah, so I've been a knife fanatic for quite some time. I think as a youngster starting out, growing up on a farm, playing Rambo with my survival knives and climbing trees and cutting sticks and all kinds of stuff like that. I guess everyone that enjoys the outdoor living did that. And then after my school, I moved to a very big city, and I kind of tried to keep it up, but I didn't play as much. Then I started collecting. But I think as most people actually start collecting, they start with, I don't know, whatever you can get at the garage shop or whatever you can get at the supermarket, and you think you've got this absolutely amazing collection, and then you realize it's actually just a bunch of nonsense. But I guess, I mean, we all start like that. And my collection grew, I guess, a little bit too big. And I wanted to start selling some of it, and I searched online, and I came upon a South African knife group, which were selling knives. And I put one of my own knives on there, and I kind of made a nice profit. Okay, this is interesting. And I sold a second knife, and I made a profit again. And it kept on going and going. And then I started buying a little bit, and I started selling, and it looked like it was a nice hobby, because I truly enjoyed it as a hobby. It was something that I just really enjoyed, looking at all the different knives and stuff like that. And I had a couple of the big distributors in South Africa help me get stock, and always very thankful for them. And a couple of months later, I started buying a little bit more, and then my accounting and finance people that's been doing my own finances for a while came to me and said, look, you might need to register a company here because things are getting a little bit big. And then I said, oh, you know what, cool, I'll do that. And I registered the company, and I got an import license, and I started importing from all of the big brands. I mean, in South Africa, I launched Bestech as the first guy to sell Bestech in South Africa. I was one of the first guys to sell Kaiser in South Africa. Did a lot of new brands in South Africa, and then did the normal production knives, the Kershaws, the CRKTs, and Spydercos, and all of that stuff. And that did pretty well, and the business started picking up, and I started doing auctions on Facebook, and the website came up, and I started selling through there. And then about 3.5 years ago, I've been always wanting to kind of do my own brand, because I guess where the main thing came in is I got a little bit peeved off with now knowing what a production knife costs when you bring it in, and looking at some of the things that people were charging for it. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm really passionate about South Africa, and our knife makers and knife designers in South Africa is absolutely phenomenal, in my humble opinion. The type of knives that they make and design is just crazy good. And I thought, all right, well, let me see if I can put my name on a knife. And I started phoning around and contacting around and tried to get a manufacturer. It was an interesting story when I got hold of someone in China, and I said to them, look, I want to start my own brand, and I want to do this and that. And they said, oh, cool, it's no problem. How many knives do you want? I said, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10. They said, sure, no problem. We can do 5 or 10 pallets for you. No issue at all. It's like, dude, just hold on. I don't want 50,000 knives. I want 5 knives. And
Come on now.
so that was the shock of reality. And I then shopped around a little bit, and I got a couple of manufacturers, and they were okay. And I ultimately ended up with Remet. They've got a different name in China. Remet is actually just their international marketing arm. They do have a Chinese name for the company, and they support quite a couple of brands, and they've got ODM and OEM knives. So you can bring a design to them and they can make it for you, or they've got what they call catalog or design knives, and you can take that design and you can actually what do you call it? You can change it a little bit, and I'll show some examples of those type of knives during the evening or during the show. And I ultimately ended up by bringing 5 knives in, which I made slight modifications on. Some of them are still selling. I'll actually show you one of them, the second knife we ever did, called the Scout. And it was amazing. It was people started accepting the brand, and they liked it, and we started moving from there. And I guess, yeah, it's now almost 2.5, 3 years later since the first time that we started this. We've got about 200 models. We've got 8 custom designed knives. We have got about 12 custom designed knives in production currently that is busy being finished. And I took the plunge wanting to expand internationally. First, I had some contacts in Australia, tried to get in there, and that just fell flat. And then Gareth HB, who I guess a lot of the guys in the knife community knows, he's also a friend of mine. He's been buying a lot of knives from me. I've met him a couple of times, and it was interesting that he actually said, do I mind if he sends some of my knives over? And I said, no, it's fine. I mean, I'd like to explore, so let's see. So he took it upon himself, and he actually sent some of the stuff over, and it went to some guy on a YouTube channel. I can't even remember who. And the guy took one of the knives out, and he says, oh, look, it's an Amazon knife, and he put it down, and that was the review. That was it. It was over. Because it takes such a long time to explain to people how does the actual design and manufacturing process works. Yeah. And then I was no, I don't like USA. They're bad people. We don't like them because they say my stuff is crap. And ultimately, yeah. And I mean, ultimately, Gareth just said, look, just hold on. I'm going to send it to Scott at Aries, and let's see if we can get a proper review. And Scott had a look at it, and he did a great review on some of the stuff. We sent him the stuff like that, and he was absolutely amazed. Yeah. And then went through the pass around group, and people started getting in contact with me. And ultimately, I said, look, I'm looking for a distributor, because a lot of people were buying in South Africa, but the shipping from South Africa is a bit of a problem because it costs quite a lot. So I needed to establish some form of a distribution ship in the US, so that it's easier for people to get hold of the knives and obviously pay a normal shipping fee. And I got introduced to Kelly, and we had a couple of chats, and obviously she's well known in the knife community and well respected. And we sent the first batch to her, and I guess the rest is history. Here we sit today. So that's the the story of how we came about, and obviously we've got some big plans for the future, but I mean, we'll chat about all of that. I see there's a lot of questions. I haven't even looked at any of them yet, so I'm sure we'll get to some of them.
Yes. Let's see. We have Johnny Guru. He asked a couple questions. He asked one. It says import tax and customs duty. I don't know if he's asking if that's like an issue or it's a thing. And he also asked, are you open to sharing the name of that manufacturer?
Sorry, my connection also dropped there a little bit now. So if you can maybe just repeat the question, I do apologize.
He asked, are you open to sharing the name of the manufacturer that you were talking about with the knives? And then I'm not sure, maybe Johnny can clarify for us if so, but he said import tax and customs duty. So I don't know if that's an issue, like, with trying to get things over here or vice versa.
No, not at all. No, not at all. So if you go to Remet's website and you go to the bottom and look at their contact details, you see the company name there. I would prefer not to pronounce it. It is a Chinese name. It's quite difficult to pronounce correctly. So have respect.
Exactly.
Go to Remet's website. Look at the bottom, and you'll see the company name. They in the Yin province, which is the biggest province where all of the manufacturers sit. And I think I mentioned the other day, there's like 2,000 manufacturers there.
Yeah.
And 95% of the world's knife comes from that one province or that one town. So the majority of knife makers have actually got a manufacturing plant in there. Then from an import-export perspective, no, I've got an import and export license for international, but for the US, my forwarding agents takes care of all of that for me. So everything is done legal and above board. I use reputable shipping companies like DHL or FedEx or UPS, and they handle all of the tax issues for me with importing and stuff like that. So I had no issues whatsoever so far. I had one batch that went through the US Wildlife Conservation something. They wanted to look at some of the stuff. We were actually joking about it with a sticker that was on there, why they were interested in it. But yeah, it obviously went through. So touch wood, haven't had any issues yet, but we do everything above board. That's one thing that I do want to say is that anything I do in this business is above board. I don't want, you only have one reputation.
Yeah.
And it can take one small event to ruin that reputation. And I've kept this reputation intact for 8 years, and I would prefer to keep it intact for at least another 20.
Yeah, exactly. And like we were talking about yesterday, about how transparent you are with Pickled Steel. And how about that's one of the things that, that we love, because it's like with full transparency, it's like, it's, you can't go wrong with that. And I think that has a, that to me, that's a big thing. It truly is. So.
Yeah, because all it takes is, and we've seen it happen time and time again in the knife community, somebody's, they're not necessarily even being dishonest. They're just not transparent and clear with what's going on. They're not necessarily hiding it, and it gets out there in the wrong way and lands with the wrong people, and the rumor mill or the telephone game starts, and next thing you know, your business is suffering for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just believe that the Pickled Steel was a hobby that became a business. I'm fortunate that I have Kelly on the US side that is helping me quite a lot. I'm fortunate to have my local family that is helping me here. My daughter is studying full-time or part-time, but she is working for me as well, helping me. And I mean, a lot of people say, so how big is Pickled Steel? Well, it's very simple. It's like 2 people.
Yeah.
That's it. It's me and my daughter. And I've got extended people that are helping me all over the place. But I mean, I don't have this massive corporate business.
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the main reasons why we are able to keep our prices fairly reasonable, is because we don't have these expenses of all of the other shops and things like that. So I'm a businessman. I've worked full time for a very large international company, and you need to think business. So yes, I've got a passion for knives, but obviously I'd like to make a little bit of side money out of it as well. I don't just want to do everything for free. So you have to think like a business, and in business, openness and transparency and trust is just how it needs to be.
Yep.
Yep.
We have a question from Rolf Robertson. He says, Aldo, have you considered coming to a blade show in the U.S.?
Yes, I have, and 2026 will be the year.
Oh,
Ah, nice. Do you know which one, or are you going to
Yeah, I
try to
don't
hit
wanna-
all of them?
Yeah, so that's the plan. Whether it materializes, we'll have to see. I'd love to. This year is a bit too quick for me, but I think next year, if the US distribution and everything goes as I plan it to go, then it will be well worth me coming over. So I think next year is the year. I want to give myself a year to get properly established and the name out there, and a little bit more people holding it in their hands and kind of talking with. And yeah, but it's definitely the plan.
Yeah. All right, and we have Caleb 1776. He says, I think what you're doing at Pickled Steel is fantastic. Getting quality knives into many hands at more than fair price. So yeah, I mean, we hear a lot about that, about your pricing on the knives. I know we touched on a little bit about that yesterday when we were talking, but that is one thing that truly stands out about your knives, is not just, the way they're made and everything else, but also it's the prices on them. So
So without giving a lot of the trade secrets away, I think it's a very simple methodology, and you might have heard this before. I call it little lots. A lot of littles make up a lot. And I would rather sell 1,000 units and make $1 off everyone than trying to sell 10 units and make 1,000 per unit. It's a very simple methodology. So our margins are very low on the knives. They are.
yeah.
And the reason for that is I don't think I will ever jump the prices too high, because we have come and become renowned, at least in South Africa, for really high quality knives at a very, very good price. And unfortunately, I know how a lot of the manufacturers work. And without naming anyone, I mean, I can give you an example. I'm not going to also talk too much about the product because that will kind of give it away. But I had an item that I was selling, getting it from a local distributor. They've got the import rights for that specific item. And I started selling them at a really good price. I started selling them through auctions and all over social media. And I got a phone call one day and said, look, we're stopping to supply you. And I said, why? He says, because you're hurting the retail business. And I said, but how can a little guy like me actually hurt shops? He says, well, firstly, you're moving more units than a lot of the shops. And secondly, is you're selling them at 70% cheaper. And I said, but what are you telling me? He says, well, you have to add 100%. Otherwise, you're not allowed to sell them.
right.
And I said, but you're nuts. I'm not going to do that. And needless to say, I'm not selling that item anymore, because unfortunately, a lot of the prices, believe it or not, are fixed. A lot of the guys, if you want to list the price, or you want to import it, you want to do it, the guy says you can only do it if this is your minimum retail price, because they want to try and keep the price up. And unfortunately, maybe it's a dumb thing, but I know how much it costs to manufacture. I know what quality manufacturing costs, and I know what is the input cost that is required to distribute something like this. And I just think a lot of people are getting ripped off. And I'll share my views a little bit later on super steels and stuff, but that's just how I operate. I just
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely would love to hear that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, so that's the whole idea. Is I wanna continue bringing quality. I'm not shy to say that my knives are manufactured in China. I'm not scared to say that. And people that think that Chinese knives are not well made, I would love you to walk into a wall so you can wake up, because really, they are exceptional quality. And if you understand how the manufacturing process works, you have got control over quite a lot of it. And that's what we've done. So I've got my own quality control processes at certain steps in how we manufacture. And I've sent stuff back and I've had batches redone purely because I wasn't happy with the quality. And if I'm happy with it, I know my customers will be happy. And there's two things that I really try and pride myself on in this business. One is the action must be unbelievable. And I think we've proven that quite nicely. And secondly, if it's not sharp, it didn't come from me.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that so all of our blades are hand sharpened on a whetstone before they leave the plant. It's simple as that. I want to make sure that when you get it, it can cut, and it must cut properly. And I want it to be a wow, look at this action. I want that first impression to be wow. because that impression will last.
Yeah.
And that's the two of the things that I really try and emphasize in everything that we do. There's not a lot of our knives, I believe, where you won't have those two qualities in it.
Yeah.
And it's just something that, again, I really want to focus on, because I think a lot of people don't.
Yeah, no, I agree. And yeah, that's like, I told you earlier that the capo, I've been it's been addictive because it's so smooth, and the way it closes and everything is just, I love it. And it's addictive, and you can't stop yourself from messing with this knife. But I'm going to move on really quick to Mick Ranger. He has a question for you, Aldo. He said, are you going to do a pickle themed knife? And that's a good question.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I am. So I have got a design myself, which I have done in conjunction with one of the main Remet designers, and it will be called the Pickle. I'm not going to share with you what it looks like, but
Like a pickle?
if you follow me on social media, you might recognize it somehow.
Yeah.
Let's just put it out there. So I've got two profiles on social media. On the one profile, it's actually the profile photo.
Oh.
All right, awesome.
So that is the pickle.
that
Yeah,
will
and
be
it does have a cool
We'll have to be go nosy, and Aldo's going to be getting messages from us and be like, "Is this it? Is this it? This is it?" One more time. We have a question for you from Adventure 50. He says, Aldo, who handles your YouTube and social media, do you do that yourself?
So Adventure 50, firstly, thank you for the nice review you did. I caught your video, and I really appreciate your nice words towards the product that you got, and it was a Red Freya. So thank you for that. Secondly, currently I do everything myself. My daughter does a lot of the Facebook stuff, but all of the YouTube things I do myself. I don't have a digital marketing team. I don't have digital marketers, people like that. I am in the technology business. Behind the scenes, I'm an absolute nerd and a geek. So I kind of know how to do this stuff. And in my spare time, I do it myself. And I found optimal ways of doing it. So currently, everything is done myself.
All right. Good answer. And Caleb has another question for you. He said, anyone's on the high-end Warhog?
Yes, there is news. It's in production. That's as much as I can tell you. No, you're looking at about 3 months away as a minimum.
So he meant any news. Yeah. So sorry, Caleb. I clicked on the wrong one. He corrected his own self. So let's see. And yes, everyone, the Pickled Steel website is pinned at the top of the chat. We're also going to be, we can post other links. He has Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, besides his YouTube channel and Instagram. Yeah. Yes. I was like, there's so many.
So I do quite a lot of work on Facebook. That's where everything started. So a lot of our auctions run there. We've got 2 Facebook areas. The one is the general page where we post stuff and sell items and do auctions and things. And then I've got a fans page. The one area has got about 6,000 people on now, I saw, and the fans page has just reached 3,000 people. What's nice about that is it's a total open area, and it's an area where people can just share their experiences, comment, get people to share ideas. People that do mods on their Pickled Steel knives share it on there. So it's a fans group where people just get together, and then obviously if you're part of that fans group, you get first dibs on the new releases. You typically get it at the new release price. And it's just on Facebook. You can search for Pickled Steel fans, and you can ask to join, and we'll ask you for some DNA and all kinds of stuff like that. And so that, and then I recently I recently started doing a little bit more on Instagram. I wasn't that active on it, but it seems to be getting promotion. I try and show off a lot of the models and some of the mods that are being done and cool photos that are posted. And then on TikTok, we're quite active. We've got over 13,000 people where we also post videos and all kinds of stuff like that. But I don't do lives there. I used to do all my lives on Facebook. Now it's YouTube. But I'm still growing the YouTube channel. I don't even have 300 followers yet. So I'll get there.
Yeah. Oh, no, totally get that. And that's why we prefer to do our lives on YouTube, because for us, like Facebook, it's just too many restraints. I don't want to say restrictions, but it's too many restraints for like, you know, what we do. But yeah, it's but now they have it to where you can go live on all platforms at the same time, you know, so that works as well.
Yeah.
Yep. I can imagine.
Kelly, we have a question from you from Jim Cox. He says, "I'm late. Shame on you, Jim. I don't know what we're gonna have to do with you, Jim.
We'll have to put you in the corner with a dunce cap."
It says, you don't have to answer, but does Kelly get the items in bulk, then box them and ship the US stuff, or do you send everything to her already individually boxed and ready for shipping? So I guess that's a question for both of y'all.
Oh, Kenny, you can take that one.
No.
Working. I'm in and out on my signal, guys. May do it. They ship them in a big box with each knife is individually boxed, but I do open them. I double check the quality on them before I ship them out, just to be on the safe side and make sure they have everything they're supposed to have. I add the stickers, I add a little something for me, and package them up and ship them out.
Yep. Simple enough.
Yeah.
The Topster, he says, Pickled Steel definitely teaches you patience, but the wait is worth it for sure. So, yes, very.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are currently a little bit short of stock. I have had a little bit of logistical issues getting things here, and in the States, but hopefully from next week things will start moving again, and then there'll be quite a lot of stock updated, not just on the website, but also getting a lot of the models into South Africa as well. Into the US, apologies.
All right, and El Navajero, hello. Did you get our mail?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that you did. Let's see, moving on. And I saw where Fook made a comment. He's like, midday live stream. Yes, we went live at 1 to help accommodate Aldo, because he's 7 hours ahead of us. So it wouldn't be fair to him to try to get him to go live with us at our normal time on Thursdays. And it'd be like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning for him. So, yeah, it was just a lot easier. So, yep, that's why it's a midday stream instead.
Yeah, so thank you for accommodating. I actually see there's a question from Johnny. What would you say is the proudest achievement that you've attained thus far in your journey in the knife making world? Can you pinpoint a single event that you would point to overall experience? I'd like to answer that one. So I think there's two things. Firstly is the day I met a guy by the name of Stuff We Do, and I'm going to refer to his YouTube channel, SWD. He's the guy that helped with the Red Freya as well. And when I met him the first time and he bought one of my knives and I saw he did a review, and then I started interacting with him, and that day changed the way people saw Pickled Steel, because all of a sudden a lot of people that he's got great followings, thousands of followers across the world, and he started gladly sharing and doing reviews and stuff like that. And I think that day was a turning point where a lot of people that didn't know about us actually started knowing about us. So that was a first point, and I really want to say thank you to him. He's been a great friend, and he's been phenomenal, giving honest, real feedback and criticism and all kinds of stuff. So he was one of the first real YouTubers that really helped me on this journey. So I think that's the first point. The second point is when I've only made 2 knives in my life. And the second one I made gave me a hell of a lot of respect. And that day I decided I shall never make knives again. I should rather sell them. And it was just the amount of effort that goes into it. Seeing the end product is such an amazing experience. But damn it, that's a hell of a lot of work, eh? Yes, I tell you. So I think that for me was the day I said, nah, I'd just rather sell them. I'll design and I'll build and I'll ship and I'll do all of that. And I think that for me is a proud moment. That is the day that you realize that, geez, there's a lot of effort that goes into this. And that's why I've got so much respect for all of the designers and knife makers out there, the custom guys. And what we're also doing with our custom designs is giving them another opportunity to get into a production market with their designs being sold into a production market. I mean, I always talk about the designer of the Warhawk, Johan Jordan. He's now got 23 production knives. The majority of them are by Kaiser. He's got Artisan. He did the Artisan Clio, if you don't know. He did the Kwaiken from Kaiser that was just launched at Blade Show with the Nitro V blade. But his first knife he designed was the Warhawk. Oh. And his journey also just changed all of a sudden from a custom knife maker to now one of the most wanted designers out there, which is nice. So, I mean, I guess that makes you sleep well at night, knowing that you could actually have made a difference to someone. And they're part of your journey. This journey doesn't stop by yourself. This journey is, you bring people along with it. And I'm thankful for everyone, the patience my family and my wife and my kids have had with me over this journey. And I move to my room and look at knives and stuff. And that for me is a proud moment as well. But those two were defining moments. The day I realized I'm never going to make knives again, and the day that I got introduced to SWD, that has really helped me get exposure out there.
Okay. And really quick, El Navajero, your collaboration question, who is that for? Just to clarify. And let me go ahead here and hide this really quick. And I think we covered all the questions so far. But I know yesterday we were talking about, you've got some like, and we don't, of course, we don't need all the full details, but that you definitely have other knives that are in the works.
Definitely, yeah. So Gareth, I sent a bunch of knives over to Gareth HB. He's currently doing some reviews. Please go and have a look at them on his channel, Gareth HB, on YouTube. He's done 2 reviews so far, and he's going to do 8 in total, 4 South African custom makers knives, and then 4 original prototypes that will also be coming to the US, and it will be distributed amongst everyone. And then when everyone has had a look at them and what, then we'll get them back to me, because they're all pretty special. So all of the designers' knives that you're going to see is people that are working with me on design. So you'll see guys like DB Els or Davy Els. There was a review published last night by Gareth on his knife called the Jackal. And when you guys get to see the Jackal, that's exactly the knife we're going to make. That was his custom, and we're going to produce that one. And I think you guys are going to love it. And there's quite a few of them. So you'll see a lot of these collaborations coming out. And then obviously to give you guys in the US an idea of hopefully what we believe is a lot of talent in South Africa, not just from a design perspective, but also from a build perspective. And then knives that are also coming is the Cosmos is coming prototype. So you guys will have a look at that. That's going to get released quite soon. The premium Typhon in M390 titanium with that floating button lock is coming. Yeah, so there's quite a few knives. There's 4 of my prototypes. The Karambit, the Blood Eagle, the first prototype of the Karambit is coming. So you guys can also get a look at what that's going to look like. So yeah, all of these knives are coming, and that collaboration with these guys is just to kind of give you an idea of why we work with them, because of the quality that they can bring out.
Yeah.
But guys are going to get to see 8 knives that you typically have never seen in your lives, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see all of these creations and put them to use and whatnot. And again, and I know I keep saying it, but like, again, they're addictive. So if you guys have not gone to the website, actually Kelly already has some currently in stock. She has, correct me if I'm wrong, Kelly, she has 4 of the black Capilaveras and 7 of the browns. So if you guys want to pick any of these up, I'm telling you, it's sweet. Do it. It's addictive. You're not going to put it down. I mean, and I'm usually the one telling Marshall, hey, stop, because you constantly hear the clicking and everything going on. If you have not picked one up, you guys get one. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. And really quick, Kelly, is number still the same? the capos?
There is 4 black, and I will have 6 left of the brown.
Ah, okay. So yeah, you guys, if you want it quickly, yeah, get it now because she has them in stock, and you're not going to have to wait for these. And I know Aldo, when we were talking yesterday, he did say he was going to be sending some more stuff to her. So hopefully soon, you know, she'll have more in stock and you guys will get it quicker. But like someone said earlier too, even if you don't, you have to pre-order and wait for it to get to Kelly and then to you, then it's worth the wait. So, I mean, I have like a mile long list.
Sorry, apologies. So I've chatted to Gareth today. He's going to be sending all those prototypes over next week, and I will be sending restocking the black warhogs as well for Kelly's to have from here. So because I've got all of them here by me, so we will be sending some more to just stock up a little bit. But yeah, I mean the couple of Oro. I mean if I can show a couple of knives, maybe. I mean. I think the couple of Oro was the first custom that we did. It's a really funky design. A youngster by the name of Miguel Hetzel does that. He's actually 18 years old when he designed this. He's a very talented knife maker. So this one is obviously not for sale and you're not going to get this. So this is just my personal one. It's exactly the same, but what we did is we removed the scales and Miguel actually replaced it for me with elephant ivory. So this is my own one. And again, just to talk about this has never been used. It's a year old. Still to today, I can do that, and I can do that, and that's the type of stuff I want people to get used to when they see my type of stuff. So obviously, the couple of Oro in black and brown. I think the knife that's been spoken about so much is obviously the Warhog. This is just, I don't know. It's just there's just something about this knife that just says, use me, please. Use me, and I don't know. There's just something about it that is just phenomenal, and that's small little things, but obviously this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The next one that's going to be coming is the Rhino. Now, initially we sent a lot of the Rhinos over, and there were kind of mixed views on it. But once people start using the Rhino, it's a very different discussion. Then their mind changes very quickly. Yes, it looks funky and everything like that. So this is the original prototype of the Rhino. So if you look at this one, yes, it's a funky blade and stuff, but I don't think people realize how good this knife actually works. It is such a working knife. Yeah, it's not a looker. I mean, it's a funky blade. I had to look twice when Miguel sent it to me the first time, the design. But I mean, just this in itself, the way that you can use it and the way that you work it, it's not the prettiest knife, but it just sits perfectly in your hand. It's got the perfect pocket clip. Everything just works on it. And this one is going to be coming quite soon. And they're in the same price range as the couple of Oro on the Warhog. And again, something that I really want to emphasize is that and that. And these are the small things that I look for. So those are some of the stuff that you can look forward to. There is a couple of others which I can maybe show if you guys don't mind. So I guess you all know this one. This is just absolutely, I don't know. I think this knife surprised me more than anything. The original batch that we had manufactured is sold out, and there was a lot. And we definitely got to do a next batch. And I can share with you that the next batch will be this exact knife. However, it will be in neon green.
Oh, nice.
And there will be another color coming as well, which I'm not going to share quite well. Okay, it's orange. So there's going to be a hunter's orange and a neon green coming in this as well, which we're going to be hopefully getting quite soon. So that's going to come out. So I really think guys are going to enjoy that. And then I want to show you a knife that I really like.
Right.
So this is the Scout, and this was the second knife we ever did. So it's just a plain, normal looking knife, nothing fancy. And we did this specifically, and it was called the Scout because it's one of those things that you can just chuck in a bag somewhere, and you know it's always going to work for you. And I mean, if you look at it, it's just plain, normal, simple looking knife, nothing fancy, etc. But it's got this unbelievable grippy micarta on it, like most of my knives have. I think my manufacturer has perfected micarta on the way that it actually just grips your hand. But this knife is just one of those that, I mean, it's round about a little bit, like a couple of bucks more than the Freya, so maybe around $30, somewhere around there. But again, D2 micarta, bearings, the whole kabang, again, exactly the same, and it just works. So very simple looking knife, nothing fancy, but geez, this thing just works. It's just one of those that you can just use and abuse and no one's going to worry about it. And this was the second knife, and it's still selling to today. So I don't know what the guys think about this. They haven't, not a lot of people might have seen this. It's hidden somewhere on the website.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
It's just a clean, straightforward design. Looks like it was made to be put to work.
And it sounds smooth too. And you guys, chat,
Oh,
you let us
definitely.
know what you think about that knife. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, please. I'd love to get the feedback from the guys on there.
And the red knife you showed, we got a question about the name of that. That's the Freya, correct?
Yeah, that's the Freya. So Freya, a lot of my knives are named after Nordic mythology. And Freya, if you don't know, was Odin, the Viking god's wife. And Freya actually means lady. So when we when we chose the name for this, we thought it's going to be a lady's knife. And unfortunately, 90% of customers are men that's buying it because they just use and abuse this knife. So the name was originally named for a lady. But yeah, that's how it ended up. Everyone uses it.
Yep. And we have Johan says, I used to work in aviation and we work with micarta a lot. The brown one Pickled Steel uses reminds me of the Gilfab material. You know about aviation?
Yeah.
What is he talking about? The Gilfab material.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with that name, but the brown stuff they use here in the U.S. we called it phenolic, and you know, that was one of the first versions, and they still make it today, but it's been highly refined.
Yeah, this micarta that I get is like a canvas micarta, but it's got the texture of a denim micarta, but it's got the look of burlap. Yep. It's very funny. I don't know how they actually get it, but they manufacture the micarta themselves. Yeah. And I tell you, it's just absolutely amazing. It just works. It's one of those, and when you put a little bit of wicked wax, or in our world, you'll put pickled wax on it. It just absolutely works. I think it's just cool. There is one also that I want to show. Look, I've got lots of stuff to show you tonight. But
show away.
This one is going to definitely come to the US. And if War Room is on here, I think he's gonna really like this, and I think Scott might also like this from Aries. So this is called the Spoliator. Now, the name I had when this knife was brought out the first time, I had a competition where I asked my fan base and customers to name the knives. I couldn't think of all the names. And one of my longest standing customers, a guy, he's in the South African police. He's quite high up there. And he uses and carries his knives always with him. And he named this the Spoliator. And when I said why, he says, because once you hold it, you're spoiled for anything else. And up until today, this is still one of the most popular models that we've got. This is the Pro version. The normal version has got carbon fiber, and the Pro version, we made a couple of changes to it. So it's extremely light. To kind of give you an idea, it's just a little bit lighter than, a little bit more heavier than what the Red Freya is. So it's not that heavy. Flow-through construction, G10. It's got this beautiful wire pocket clip, which we really like, quite deep, totally reversible, sunk in. But the nicest thing about this is the blade shape. Just this, just absolutely, just no nonsense, easy to use, and it is phenomenal in hand. And this one is definitely coming to the US as well. So you get this in green, in black, with a black blade, black with a satin blade, orange. And then you get the TI version. I shared some of it in on Instagram a while ago. You get the blackout TI, and then you get the normal titanium color TI as well, with the M390. But this is just, I mean, this is just a sick knife. It's just, I'd love this. This for me is now really, really nice. But that's, again, my humble opinion.
Can we see the clip on it?
Yeah, sure, by all means.
Oh, it's got the wire clip.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Very cool.
Yeah, this wire clip is pretty cool. I must say, it's a pretty cool, and it works. It's just, I like wire clips. Personally, I really do like them. They just work for me. And again, one of the things that I think we try and do a little bit different is every single knife will have a Torx bit that you can use depending on the knife, with usually a T6 and a T8. It comes with an extra set of hardware. It comes with an extra pocket clip with a cleaning cloth, etc. And the reason why is that we don't want people to, in my native language, we call it, we don't want them to suckle. We don't want them to worry about, oh, my pocket clip broke, where am I going to get another one? You've got an extra one. And that's some of the extra stuff that we just try and do that I think people also appreciate. I'm not sure, but I think so. I think it's something that really works for us.
Oh, okay. And also, that's like, you know, combing through your website, you have things other than knives on there. If you want to tell us a little bit about, like, I noticed you have like the knife rolls, you have, you know, of course, like caps. Do you plan on coming out with any t-shirts? I know we get asked that a lot about Pickled Steel, even though we're Legion still, but they're like, hey, do y'all know if Pickled Steel is going to have any t-shirts? So I'm going to ask you directly for everyone. Are you going to eventually do this?
So yes, we do. So I'm actually wearing one.
Oh,
So
nice.
if you look at, I'm going to try and stand up, you can see. So we've got this one, and then the back, so that you can see it.
Oh, I like that.
It says sharper days
Yep.
ahead. So that's, we've got that. We do have caps. I am in the process of actually changing the cap manufacturer to be a little bit more like, I guess you guys would call it the trucker cap, the one with the mesh at the back, with a little bit more hard on the front. So we are definitely looking at doing that. Yeah, so we've got a couple of accessories, obviously pouches and all kinds of things like that. The one thing that I think we also, and that's something I personally believe in, and I've been kind of convinced by a couple of people that has really helped me on this journey as well, is that a lot of people say, okay, so what do we use to sharpen, or how do you sharpen? Now, you can go and buy all of these funky machines and workshops and all of these type of machines that can do it. I believe, unfortunately, that there's nothing nicer than sitting and sharpening your blade on a stone. So we've got our own sharpening sets, the whole stone set. And then we've also got I'll show you my personal one. It's called a paddle. So it's got the 1000 grit diamond plate. It's got the 400 grit diamond plate. That one we will never use, or the ceramic one you can, but not obviously the tungsten carbide we won't use. You can sharpen scissors. And this is the only thing I use to sharpen my knives. There's, for me, nothing nicer than just sitting and doing that noise, the sound. So I believe in old school. If you want to do it with a machine, go for it.
Yeah.
But I believe it's old school, and I love it. And that's why we don't sell fancy sharpening systems. You want something, I'll sell you a paddle. And the cool thing about this is that you can throw it in the kitchen, you can put it in your pickups cubby hole, you can leave it in your backpack, you can take it in your fishing thing. And these plates last long. I mean, I've had this one for about 2 years, and I use it quite a lot. And I mean, it's still, if I nicely wipe it off, it will still look brand new. But 400 and 1000 is the best grit for me to use. All of our knives are sharpened between 22 and 25 degrees on the folding knives, and our fixed blades are between 15 and 18 degrees. And these paddles are amazing. They are absolutely, yes, it doesn't look like the nicest thing on earth, but geez,
But
it
they work
works.
well, though.
And
Yeah.
they work unbelievably well. And again, I want to go back to old school. I want you to sit with your son, with your daughter. And, you know, so many guys tell me the stories that they spend so much time with their sons before they go fishing, just sharpening their knives, sitting, talking. And that's what you should appreciate of it. I mean, putting a thing through a machine and rubbing it up and down, yeah, okay, it's cool. But I mean, I'll get an edge on this with my leather strop that will split a head.
Yep.
So my opinion, but that's me. I mean, I'm weird. So
Then we're all weird if that's the case. Because I know how that is. And you also sell the multi-tools on your website. Do you have any on you that we can see personally, or
I'll have to check. I actually think I'm out of stock. I can have a look around if I've got. I don't think I've got. What I did do is, I mean, you can show them on the screen, or I think there's one of my videos where I showed one of them. So these are some of the new ones. And when we started the multi-tools, I couldn't think of a name. So I just called them Thing. So Thing 1, Thing 2, Thing 3, Thing 4, etc. And now they're referred to as Thing 3, the Russian, and Thing 4, the hammer, and Thing 6, the axe. They are exceptional quality. They are, in my humble opinion, exceptional quality. So these are ODM designs. So there's a manufacturer that makes them. So you might see some of these with another brand name on it, etc. There's been 1 or 2 small changes that we've made, but these, again, I mean, looking at the price, if just in US, if you look at, as an example, that those are some of the, I guess, the most cost-effective ones you can get. Comes with a Torx bit, comes with everything.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind going to the red Thing 8, it's the last one that we've got there. In my humble opinion, that will compare to potentially a Leatherman Wave. Yeah, the Thing 8. It's a red one. It's right on top. If I'm not.
There we are.
Yeah. Now that will compare with any of the top-notch tools that is out there. Any of them that will be out there. That is a phenomenal knife. All the knives and tools lock in with a liner lock. It's got replaceable wire stripping blades, so you can actually replace that little wire cutter that you've got. It's got this immaculate click sound when you open and close it, so the springs are on the inside control. It's got a pocket clip which is reversible on all 4 ends, and in my humble opinion, $28 for that in US, that's not. I don't think that's money.
No, that's an amazing price for that. I mean, yeah, can't complain about that at all. And it's 2CR13. And
which is, believe it or not, a higher HRC than 420JS, which Leatherman uses.
Yeah.
A lot of people, again, okay, on the subject, may we touch on super steels?
Yes.
I'm all for that.
So I just now saw Scott was saying he's driving and he's listening. How's it, Scott from Aries? So there was a question that came up in another live the other day, and he said something, and I'd like to take some of his words, and I 100% agree with that. To me, a super steel is, I think you should really consider, why would you spend 7 to 8 times the amount of money on a knife and be able to brag that it's S90V or 1110 or M4 or S30V, or I don't understand the price difference between that. In my humble opinion, my D2 was tested. One of the knives that I've got landed up by LTK, and he did the hardness test on it, and that D2 came back 61 to 63 HRC. I would love any super steel to come challenge me with my D2. And that's my honest feeling. I think a super steel is great, but I think it's something you want to use to show off that you can buy expensive knives.
Right.
That's my honest, humble opinion. I do have a super steel. I've got M390, which is a phenomenal knife. My D2 will still outperform it.
Yeah.
So that's my honest opinion about a super steel. I don't see why you should pay so much more And what do you actually get for that much more? Let's be honest. I mean, let's be really, really honest.
So, like for me, I think there's a balance in there that's not achieved, because coming from the custom knife making world and being able to individually heat treat blades and a lot of these super steels, I've gotten to personally experience the benefits of them, and I can see where it is.
Sure.
But I think, and I truly believe this in my core, that it's become a marketing ploy where they're cranking out new super steels where they're not necessarily needed, because they know there's going to be fans of the knife world that want to have the latest and greatest, and I call it the flavor of the week. And you get these people that are constantly upgrading, and you see this most of the times minor. Sometimes there's a significant improvement in performance, but most of the time it's relatively minor improvement with a dramatic increase in price. And the companies will then put that steel into designs that were kind of slowing in performance, and it allows them to continue selling that design that everybody and their brothers got, but now they want another one because it's in a new steel. So I believe the super steel exists more nowadays as a marketing ploy than as a true increase in performance. But, you know, in my experience, there are reasons, you know, for these super steels, but often it's more task related than what most people use. Like S90V, some of the places it excels, that's not where people are, not what people are using their S90V pocket knives for, you know. What they're using them for, you could get away with a 440C blade 9 times out of 10. But some of the more specialty fields, that's where some of these super steels really shine. The
100% agree with it.
Yeah.
But it is a speciality.
Right.
Again, I think if you buy a knife that's got a titanium handle, I mean, I've got quite a lot of titanium knives, and I chose D2 on them.
Yeah.
Because if I can then sell them at $40 or $50 for titanium with a D2 blade, versus I'll have to sell them for $130 to $150 if it's an M390 blade. Now, my statement previously, I just looked at Todd Carr's comment that my M390 is phenomenal. I've seen other M390s that is not, and that's what I was referring to. Mine is pretty cool, don't make a mistake. But I only do M390. I've got a couple in S35VN. I do D2. I've got M690 in some of my customs. And then obviously on the multi-tools, we've got a bit of a softer type steel. And then my kitchen stuff is all 5CR15. For the simple reason is that's the standard steel that people use in a kitchen knife. It's easy to sharpen, doesn't really make a funny indent on the blade or choose the blade away unless you use tungsten carbide. You can stop it with a mirror sharpening finish, and it just works. And again, I see it as balancing the quality of what you want to get versus the price that you're willing to pay. For me, paying $100 for a knife is maybe acceptable. For other guys, they're saying, why the hell would you spend so much? The same as I would say, why would you spend $1,000 on a knife? They would say, well, why does the other guy spend $2,000? I think it also depends on perspective. I just think that I have to honestly agree with you, Marshall, that I do think that it's now a marketing ploy. I mean, it was LMAX and Magna Cut and Rex 45, and I don't know what the next one is they're going to come out, and I'm sure it's got its qualities. I just can't see myself carrying and using one of those, versus for that price, I can buy 5 to 7 of my knives, in my humble opinion, and I can use them. And if they don't work anymore, I chuck them away, and then I'll take the next one out. I mean, I haven't had, and I'm not challenging anyone, I've never had anyone come to me and said they need to buy a new Freya, their old one is not working anymore, or the blade is not functioning, or they've broken it. Not one.
Yeah.
So it's a perspective. Sorry, I do use 14C28 as well. Definitely. And my heat treats on the 14C28 is phenomenal. They are actually phenomenal. But again, that's my view on super steel. So yes, it's got a place. I just personally don't like them.
No, and I understand that. Like the steel that I believe is probably one of, you know, I would argue that pre-MagnaCut, there was the ideal knife steel made, and that was CTS XHP. It was like basically a perfect marriage between D2 for toughness and wear resistance, and 440C for, you know, how keen of an edge it'll take and ease of sharpening. And I thought that was the perfect steel, but they moved on from it. And it was like at that period of time that came out, they were dropping like 6 or 7 new blade steels a year. And it's like, you're just, to me, it started looking like we got this great steel and it wasn't even allowed to fully mature before they're dropping all these others. And it's about marketing. And then you see, well, I love Spyderco. You can go and look at one model of Spyderco and they have it in 7 or 8 different steels, the same design. And it's like, okay, you know, it's about sales. And to a point, I do think it's a little bit about offering a same design that excels in a different application. But I think a big part of it is just how do we keep selling the same designs for decade after decade?
And I think that's what we want to do with this, is that it is very popular. We know it's going to be popular for a long time. So we're making the premium version, which is 14C28, and it's going to have aluminum with aluminum frag instead of the micarta. And we're making the TI M390 version as well. So those are the premium ones that are coming out, because there is people that want a little bit of an upgrade. And I mean, a lot of steels have also got application. If you stay at the coast, it's very humid, etc., etc. D2 is not the best blade to potentially keep on you. Maybe then rather consider 14C. It's going to kind of give you the same performance, but the one is going to give you a lot more rust resistance than a D2 potentially would, with a little bit of wetness on it, etc. So again, it also depends on where you stay and what you do and how you want to use it. Again, the cool thing about steels is it will never be a topic that will be stopped talking about. Everyone is always going to have an opinion, and it doesn't say mine is right or wrong. It just says that this is what I think people like. I mean, if you take Leatherman, most of Leatherman's you use is 420JS steel, which is a great steel. And yes, it's soft, but it still works. And a lot of the entry-level knives still come out with it. But again, what do we call an entry-level knife nowadays? I mean, people would say, this is an entry-level knife. This is D2 with bearings. I mean, is that now the entry level? So that's a cool thing about knives. We'll never have nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
And I mean, with like steels, another thing, and I've shared this on our channel before in the past, but years and years ago, late 90s, early 2000s, I got the opportunity to speak with Victorinox's chief metallurgist. And for the steels that were out at that time, he brought to the attention that what most people, when they say, oh, this steel is junk and this steel is premium, what they're experiencing is not necessarily the grade of steel. They're experiencing the heat treat and they're experiencing the edge geometry, because he pointed out that when they did scientific testing and they took the Swiss Tinker blade and made it in 25 different steels, all with optimal heat treat, and they tested them against each other, the difference in performance with identical blade geometry, optimal heat treat, actually came down to where only 3 or 4 of them could the end user actually experience a significant noticing of the performance. Everything else was down into smaller levels that an end user spread out over time would not notice.
100% correct. And I think it's also the market that you cater for. I am proudly trying to cater in the budget market. I don't want to compete with CRK or the Upper Riyadhs or Roik or people. I don't want to compete on that market. There's enough guys playing there. I want to compete in the budget market and upper budget market. And that's where I want to stay. So again, if you take a guy that just needs his knife to cut beef jerky and go to a barbecue and eat with it or whatever, use it around the house and stuff like that. It's kind of silly buying $1,000 knife or $500 knife to do that, in my humble opinion. If you've got the money and you've got a couple of Rolls and Porsches and stuff standing in the garage, yeah, by all means. But I just don't see the applicability of that. But again, it's everyone's taste.
Right.
A lot of people might say, I will never spend $50 on a knife, where other people will say, hey, 50, I don't even spend 50 because that's belief.
Right. Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing about, most capitalist markets is there's room for everybody, and there's somebody that's going to cater to every taste, to every budget. And so if somebody wants to go out and they're like, oh, my knives, I only buy in the $200 to $500 price point, well, they got a nice selection. The budget guy's got a nice selection.
Yep.
The people that are like, oh, well, I like shopping in the $2,000 price range, well, you've got a great selection too. And most of the time, nobody judges each other on it. But, like anything, you find it once in a while.
Yeah, look, I mean, you're always going to
Sorry,
get that.
Kelly.
And again, that's why I think, hey, Kelly, you're back. I guess that's what kind of makes this interesting, is the world that we live in is, I think it's a great time to be a knife fanatic. I think the options that is available, the companies that are coming out, I think it's just phenomenal, the let's call it the variety that there is to be available, and have available for people to use and choose from and stuff. And again, a lot of time that I would spend online or talking to people, etc., is about educating them about knives. People don't understand the process. They don't understand the materials. They don't understand this. There's guys that say, why would you put a $1,000 on? Why would you do this? Why would you do it? It's about just keep on educating the people. Right. We sometimes forget that we take a lot of things for granted. I can look at a knife and I can tell you what it's made of, how would it function. So would you guys. But the general Joe public out there don't know it. They don't actually understand. So that's horses for courses. That's why I've got so many models. Give an option to everyone.
And I agree with that. And I think that's a good way to approach it, because there is, one of the things I learned in my career in knives over time is, when you design something, you can't just design it for you. Of course, you want to like it. It's your creation and everything. But there's different aspects of the market. And from a business perspective, if you want to capture as much business as you can, you need to try and, design for some of the niches in the market, so that you can have a broader fan base. Like some people, they're like, oh, I don't do liner locks. I want frame locks. And then other people are like, oh no, I want axis or crossbar. Others are button lock only, top flippers or front flippers or traditional flippers. Everybody's got a different opinion. And, I believe it's good to be well-rounded in that, even if it goes against, my own tastes. It's like, well, not all these are made for me. They're made for the people we're selling them to.
Yep. Yeah, and I think again it depends on what the market. I listen quite a lot to what people are saying about what do they want and what do they want change, and a lot of it is possible to do, and a lot of it is just impossible to do. There's people with niche taste and stuff that they want to do, and there's people that have just got, well, I would consider this or I would consider that, and I take quite a lot of feedback from especially the fans group, people that have been supporting me for a long time, people that know my knives, people that are potentially even new there and has got opinions and stuff like that. I just think it's important that how you need to also listen to what the people are saying. I cannot tell you how many people say, hey, I want a super steel knife and I want a titanium and must make coffee and drive and call the wife when I'm late and must do everything for me. And then I tell the guys, okay, it's great, but I mean, I'm going to sell 100 of those, and then what do I do with the others?
Right.
No, but it will sell. No, there's a selected market that you need to cater for, and again, if you can offer good quality at a good price, it's just about that. That's just how it works. Right. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting the comments and stuff. I mean, I'll show you. Kelly's going to have a heart attack again. Kelly, yes, it's coming out. I want to show you. I've got what I would refer to as an ultimate premium knife, and this is handmade for me by Jonathan Jacobs. He's the guy that designed the Typhon, and he made this knife. So I'll show it to everyone. I think some people might have seen it. So this is he calls it the makulu in our native language. It means big. So this is the fat carbon or dark matter fat carbon. It's a Almax blade, titanium hardware, titanium clip, runs on ceramic bearings, and it's got this absolutely beautiful blade shape. Now, this is a custom knife that was handmade by someone. Now, this for me it's beautiful, and I'll never use it in my life. I just cannot get over using it. It's just too pretty. It's just too beautiful. Why would I want to do that?
Right.
Yeah.
And this is just an absolute beauty of a knife, and it's got all the features that I would love. It's got everything I'm looking for. It's easy to use, the perfect size. It's got a great sharpening choil. Everything is just perfect around it. But I would not use this knife even to cut the paper.
Yeah.
And we're looking at producing this potentially in the future as a ultra premium knife, because this has got literally all the specs on that you would consider. And I think that's there's, again, horses for courses. It depends on what you as a person enjoy. I like this, but this is my bag.
Right.
Sorry, Kelly. I know she's very jealous of this knife.
Yeah, it's my kind of knife too. But yeah, and it's right there with what you said with it, though, is like a perfect example of something I believed for a long time, because, like, let me see if I got it right here. Oh, yep, right here. I've shown this on here before. This is a Alan Elishewitz Pirate in Damascus steel with engraved titanium bolsters and the silver twill G10 titanium pocket clip and crazy micarta backspacer. In the early 2000s, it was a $900 knife. I rip boxes open with this all the time. It's a workhorse for me. But being a custom knife maker in my past, my expectations of some of these things and my knowledge in them, and even my ability to repair damage, has allowed me to use knives that other people wouldn't consider beating on, and so I get that not everybody's like that, that these become their babies, where I'm kind of like, oh yeah, and I get to enjoy the performance.
That's like my Rainbow Leak from Kershaw that I have. It's like I've only carried her once since I got her for my birthday in February, but it's like I don't want to scratch her up. She's been discontinued, so I'm just like, I know. But the ASGEIR, I'm over there. Meanwhile, even though it's a limited edition, I'm over there like just abusing the mess out of it.
Yeah, I was cutting fuel lines with it the other day, getting it soaked in gasoline.
Yeah. So
I told Brian that that's one of the things. We bought them. We spent money on them. We don't have anybody to leave them to. We might as well use them and get enjoyment out of them.
Yeah.
Why not?
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you would think the ASGEIR being the price that it is, I would be like, no, let me treasure it and, and put it in its own little bit. But no, I'm over there like abusing the mess out of it. But the Rainbow Leak, I'm like, I'm not touching it. She's just going to sit there and be pretty.
I think Todd's got a very interesting comment there that some people will put them in the safe and leave them as safe queens, and others will use them. That's a cool thing. You bought it, you can do with it what you want. So
exactly.
I guess
I don't shame on people for safe queens. If that's what they want to do, go for it.
Yep. And El Navajero said, we have to use our knives to build history with them. That's the romance I have with my knives.
Yeah.
Getting steamy in here.
Yep.
I see there's quite a few people that have joined that I've seen. Oh, there's quite a lot of people that have joined recently that I've seen, but all right, cool. Let me show you something else. I want to show you two more knives that I've got. Well, I've got a lot to show, but this was also one of the first knives that we did. And when we did this one, I decided that there's so much carbon fiber and stuff out there. What I want to try and do is something a little bit different. So we went with shredded carbon fiber. And we use this on a lot of our carbon fiber knives. You'll see that. But this is I hope the light will pick it up nicely so you can see it. But
I like that.
this is kind of shredded carbon fiber. We've got quite a few models that use the same carbon fiber, different colors, things like that. So this knife is called the Wahoo, and it's named after the fish. And you'll see now why if you look at the shape. It looks like that fin from a marlin or a Wahoo fish. Very, very nice. But this carbon fiber is just something that I don't know. I enjoy it. I've got quite a few knives in this. And then another thing that we're not scared to use is wood. And I'll show you something in wood now as well. So again, just a normal, nice knife. Nothing fancy. Depends on the shape that you like. Depends on the materials that you like. Again, same qualities. Just doing the same thing. So this is just, again, normal using knife. Looks nice. I enjoy it. This is one of the new ones that we've brought out, and this is called the Scarp, S-K-A-R-P. This one is done in rosewood scales, so it's textured milled rosewood. The pocket clip, single pocket clip on this side. And for this one, we chose to go with the normal Damascus blade that I usually use. So this is, believe it or not, a 9CR and mild steel Damascus. Now, it's not etched or anything. It's a core Damascus, so you can see the core there. And this classifies as Damas steel, but I'm not allowed to use that word because it doesn't come from Sweden.
Right.
So this is a stainless Damascus. And the majority of our Damascus uses 9CR or VG10 Dama. And these are, again, this is a $45 knife with rosewood bearings and Damascus. Nothing fancy. Again, same thing. You'll recognize this in most of our stuff. Beautiful gentleman's carry. And it will work. A lot of guys use the Damas. They work. But this is one of the newer models that we brought out now. So yeah, just to show you that we've got quite a few Damascus models as well. And we're very particular about the kind of stuff that we use this for. I make very sure of the Dama because there's a lot of bad reputation around Damascus out there. But I mean, you can see the patterns on this. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's 67 folded, so 67 times folded Damascus to get the pattern. But yeah, these are, again, just a normal knife. Nothing fancy. Looks pretty. Just a normal knife.
Yep. I like it.
Yep. Very cool.
Oh, yeah. And really quick, I know we talked about this yesterday, so let me get you pulled back up over here. We both Legion and Pickled wanted to do a little bit of giving back to the knife community for supporting Pickled Steel so much as you guys have. So we are going to do a surprise giveaway. So you guys just stick around, and you know, Aldo himself has been generous enough to, you know, do a giveaway as well. So you guys definitely want to stick around. He's going to pick what it is that he wants to give away to you guys. We're going to do the giveaway the same way we always do one. We're just going to do a hashtag. But again, just stick around because that will be coming up.
I see Wyoming Adventures just asked, so you can get Pickled Steel knife in the US now? Definitely yes. Kelly, which is on this live, is the distributor for us in the US. And we've got some green Warhogs, red Freya, couple of Varo in black and brown, and brown Freya in stock with her currently, and obviously more to more to come. So yes, there's definitely. You don't mind if I just every now and again answer a question that I see popping up?
I said, if you see somebody,
Thank
just
you.
reply to them.
No, sure. So, I mean, there was Robert freely asked, so how much would the scalp cost? So this is around about $50, depending on the conversion rate, for a Damascus knife in mold rosewood scales. $50. Don't know if that's a good price. I think it is.
You know, I think it's a good price for it. I mean, I wouldn't be complaining. I'm not having to pay $500, so just one less zero. I'm happy.
I'll take 500. It's fine, no problem. Deal.
All right.
Done.
We'll make him write that check.
I see a couple of questions have come out for Kelly. Kelly, maybe you want to take a couple of questions around what do you think about the different steels? And then a lot of people are saying, shout out to Kelly for everything that you do.
Yep.
I think that's a big thumbs up as well.
Well, I appreciate the big thumbs up. That makes me feel good. Honestly, my personal opinion with the steels, as long as it can take an edge and it cuts what I want it to cut, I don't care what the steel is. I'm not into all this primo steels for this or primo steels for that.
Yeah.
As long as it does what it wants, what I want it to do, I'm fine.
Yeah. Can't argue with that.
Kelly, I think maybe you should also show some of the cool things that you do with the paracord. You are really talented in that space, and I know the people know you as well. So
I've got some mini ones that are here handy.
I definitely think you need
some
to
of my mini
show some cool stuff.
And then I've got like what I would consider a fishing key fob that has a ping pong ball in it. And of course I do my normal monkey's fist with a 1-inch steel ball. Zipper pulls. I actually include one of these in with each of the Pickled Steel orders now. I do one of these and add that little thank you from me for purchasing Pickled Steel. So I do my own thing.
Kelly does amazing work on her paracord items. So if you want to grab some that we have of hers. I mean, and the cord is just super tight. I mean, we've had paracord before where it's loose. Yeah, no, you ain't doing anything with this one.
I mean, it doesn't even, with the weight of the bearing in there, it doesn't even want to sag that much, you know, and yeah, this would hurt.
Like, don't knock me out. Yeah.
You know, and even the bracelets are nice and rigid and they're adjustable, you know, so it's, exceptional work. Everything is super, super tight on the weave. I mean, it's really kind of hard to see how truly nice it really is.
And for some people.
Nope.
Oh, did we lose Kelly? Bless her heart. Her internet has been like so back and forth, or her connection.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and that's like earlier when y'all heard me apologize. That's because I wasn't paying attention, and she was sitting in the green room just like la 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 la, and she's gone. Bless her heart. You guys, I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, shame. She's been coming in and out of this, and I think last night as well. There we go. Kelly, it's time to move out of Florida. Come now.
Yeah, I'm having connection issues. I apologize, everyone.
Kelly, really quick, Caleb is asking, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Instagram. It would be the best way probably to get in touch with me, which is what? Kelly White 9910, I think. Hold on.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
And
of course, I'm reversed, so you can't see it for crap. Sorry. Yeah, but it's Kelly White 9910.
And you can also, she has an eBay store and she has an Etsy store, correct? So, if you want to go shopping in the world of Kelly, that's where you go and just buy all things paracord and whatever else you discover. So
Tell her we sent you and she'll charge you double.
yes.
Oh, it's a discount instead of triple. Awesome.
Yeah, it could be worse.
So if I may ask a question to the people on the stream, what do you think is, for those of you that have seen the knives that we've done, things like that, what are we missing in our range? What is the kind of knife that you're struggling to get and you really want to get? And I'm not talking about materials and stuff, about a specific use. Is there something that people are interested in potentially getting, and just to kind of get ideas of what people are looking for? I don't know if it's an applicable question. I hope it's okay.
Yeah, no, and that's actually a good question to ask as a knife company, because it's like sometimes that's like what we tell our consumers and our viewers is that if we miss something, let us know, tell us. We appreciate that feedback because we can't make any changes ourselves, and we can't improve. We want to do what's going to work for for the majority of people out there. So yeah, it's like it's important to us that that we get that type of feedback,
Right?
The positive feedback.
Yep.
So the Tobster said integrals, and I know that part of it, and there's a massive fan base for it, but that style of knife, I think, kind of leans itself more to the higher mid-range to premium class of knife, just because of the construction method.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. When you guys get to see the Cosmos, which will come to the US quite soon, it almost looks like an integral, but it's not. But that's the closest we get, is almost your backspacer runs all the way through to the back with the integrated lanyard hole in it. And it really looks kind of nice and complete, but you can see where the backspacer kind of will sit. It's not a fully integral knife.
Right.
And integral's construction is, I can say it's extremely expensive. Because there's a lot of engineering that has to go
and
into
really hyper specialty machining with specialty attachments for the machines to make your counter bores in places where you just can't get tooling normally.
Yep. So I see a lot of people have spoken about fixed blades, and we actually spoke about it last night, if I'm not mistaken. It's an area that we also want to try and I guess we've got quite a few fixed blades, especially in the kitchen range and outdoor range and stuff. But I think the EDC fixed blade is definitely something where we want to also get in a little bit more. We've got a couple of models and stuff, and I mean, I can show obviously the new one that's coming very soon. It's already completed. It's just still waiting to get on an airplane. But this one will come quite soon to the US. So this was the prototype. There's small changes in the logo, so don't worry about the size of the logos or something. But this is called the Impala Hunter. The logos and the billboarding will be much smaller. Don't stress about that. But it's made out of sandalwood. The pins is actually going to be smaller pins. These were just the prototype pins. It's got a very, very nice stonewash in it. It's a N690 blade with sandalwood scales, and it comes with a beautiful leather sheath like this as well. And they're going to be, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to be around, I think it's around 60, just 55 to 60, $65, somewhere around there. I just have to check, but this is definitely coming. So this is a custom design. It was designed by a guy by the name of Jan Vol. He is a member of the SA Knife Makers Guild. Been designing and making knives forever. Just a normal, nice little outdoor knife, but it is so comfortable in hand. And because of the size, you can almost use it for anything. And it's going to come with all the normal features. It's got a beautiful sharpening choil. It is going to be exceptionally sharp. And the blade is actually going to be a very nice size. It's about 3.5 millimeters. I don't have my conversion here, so can't really say, but it's a pretty sizable blade. Just normal, slight little drop point going in here. Beautiful long belly, but this is definitely coming, and this is going to be a really nice, just a nice use fixed blade. We are looking at potentially partnering with someone that can make some kydex sheaths or tactical sheaths for it. A lot of people have already asked for it. So standard, it will come with a leather sheath, but we'll obviously see thereafter what we can potentially do. And I think this is going to be I know in South Africa, hunting is a big thing for us. I think that's going to be, I think it's going to be a killer. I think it's just because of the wood, because of the way that it's constructed. I think because of the price point, I think it's really going to be up there. And we're really putting a lot of effort and hope on that from the first custom fixed blade perspective as well. And then we've obviously got a couple of others that we're working on as well. Robert, I see you've asked a couple of times on, sorry, the Aries collaboration. Yeah, I have nothing to share yet. And I will chat to Scott tomorrow around why. There's a couple of things that I want changed. I have seen the first draft of the design. So for those of you that don't know, Aries EDC has got a knife called the Gargoyle, and we're making that into a folder. So that kind of same blade shape with the handle coming with wood and everything coming into a folder. So we're not there quite yet. I thought we were there, but we're not. I need some changes done before I even share it with him, and that's definitely going to come. So he's definitely on the list as well with a couple of new knives that are coming.
All right. So really quick though, we have a message to you, Aldo, from Laid Off Pete. He said, I appreciate your desire to put out the best product at great prices. I have really fallen in love with Pickled Steel, and not only the knives, but the soul of the company. I think that was very sweet.
Oh, thank you so much. That really means a lot. I say that quite a lot, that these type of messages and people saying thank you, and it just means so much. It really means that everything that we're doing is actually making a difference. And I absolutely love that. So thank you so much for that. I really, really do appreciate those kind words. Deep carry for the option for the Freya. I don't know. The construction of the scale makes it a little bit difficult to put a deep carry on there purely because of this. So it's going to make it very difficult. And the only way to get a proper deep carry is to kind of put it, I guess, here on the edge, which means it's going to have to run like a little bit skew, and I don't think that's going to work. So we can look at it, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. I think where it is, we might move it up a little bit and maybe combine the screw with what's holding the backspacer in place. But I don't think deeper than that is actually going to work for this knife. But that's my opinion. That's just how I feel. We'll definitely look into it, but I think the construction and the design doesn't lend itself to a proper deep carry.
So I have a question for you. When you were asking earlier about, what people in the stream might think, you're missing in your product lineup. Do you have any plans to make, like, either in fixed blade or folder, a hard use tactical style folder, that's intended a little more for the combat or adventure minded, kind of to fill in with like Strider or Becker knife and tool, or these guys that go out and really punish their knives? Do you ever have plans to offer a model that, while maybe not at the same insane level as some of these companies, but will fill that zone in the market?
I think we've got a couple that could potentially play in that space. I don't think it's on the level of a Strider or like that yet. If you search on YouTube, either SWD's channel or my channel, you'll just search for the Odin torture test. Okay. The Odin is one of the knives that we brought out, and one of the guys that designed a knife for me, Monay Swart, did a torture test on it. And to say a torture test is, he used it as a pry bar to get wood separated from each other that were glued and screwed together. So think of putting a knife in between a table and its legs and trying to do that the whole time. He then bashed it into a table. He hit it with a piece of wood onto a steel bar, and then he hanged it like this. So let me show you what it kind of looked like. So if you look at it like this, he put a little, let's call it a waistband or something on here, just on this pivot.
Yeah.
And he hung an 80-kilogram fridge on it.
That's definitely.
And it didn't break.
Yeah.
And it didn't break. Afterwards, he could do this.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's how tough it is, but we've had stuff being put through a torture test. And I've got, if you talk about what, in our neck of the world, there's a lot of farmers out there that need hard-used knife, etc. Right. And I brought out a knife called the Halo. And yes, it's named after the game, if you do know that. And this is what the Halo looks like. So G10, D2, deep stone wash, nothing fancy. But when you look at it like this, the small little things, if you look at the champering where your fingers fit in, the wide blade that still comes into a sharp tip, open construction, but this, the guys use this for almost anything. Right. And again, this is not, I would say, would classify in that real upper range of tactical, but this is a knife that people use and abuse. So a lot of guys like that purely because of it's got a lot of blade, it's got a lot of belly, it's got point, it's got everything, and it is extremely, extremely comfortable in your hand. Yeah. So yes, I might look at something a little bit more, but again, depending on the market. Right. If I'm going to sell 200 units, then is it really worth going to that effort where I could potentially give 2 or 3 of the existing knives and say, take that, it will work. I mean, exactly the same as this thing. This is the Fandon. And the Fandon is an absolute beast. It's the 3rd biggest knife that we've got. It's got a 4mm D2 blade. It's an absolute monster of a knife. But for this size knife to do that, it is absolutely phenomenal the way that it was put together to make sure you get that snappy action. It's got the murder grind on it, so you've got a hollow grind, comes into a tip, so multi-grind, I call it the murder grind that comes into it. This is such an abused knife. Again, the guys use this for almost anything. And it's a big knife. I mean, if you look at my hands, it's a pretty big knife. But there's so many things that you could use this for. So again, it's not designed for it, but I think you can use it in a situation like that. I think so. I think if you go out into the bush and you really want something that you want to use, here's your baby. Right. I mean, would you want anything else? Again, just I wouldn't take the couple of Oro into the field and really try and abuse it. I think it's a little bit more of an elegant knife, but this thing is made to use and abuse. I mean, this is a beast of a thing. So yeah, not specifically. I think it's a long answer to a question, but not specifically, but I've got a couple that I think would fit into those categories.
Okay.
Now, Gareth is telling us, which we all talked about last night, was the tack knife. Do you have one of those? Yeah.
Yeah. I unfortunately don't have a tack with me. They're all sold out. I'm waiting for new ones to come in, but that is if you want a fixed blade tactical, I don't think you'll need anything more than that. That is why it's called the tack. That is just
yeah, I'll be getting one.
That's a phenomenal one.
And this comes in what, brown and green?
Yeah, so it's almost like a compound burlap micarta, but it just fits so nice in the hand, and it comes in that brownish shade and then the greenish shade. So it's not a real green or brown, but it's got the shade on it. And it's a D2 blade, and it comes with a tactical Kydex sheath.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I know Marshall over here has his eye on this.
Yeah.
So
I've been drilling on that since yesterday when I discovered it.
Oh yes, indeed.
Yeah, look, it's a pretty It's a pretty awesome knife. I'm hoping to get some of those in April in the US as well. There's actually quite a few people have bought them from the US. I know War Room EDC, Chris has got one and he absolutely loves it. But just when you have that knife in your hand, it's like you change character. You want to become this, I don't know, this guy in a computer game that wants to go and just do stuff.
Yeah.
That's the feeling you get from that knife.
Very nice.
Yep. And like I said, I know Marshall's excited about having this one in his hand. So that's literally, that's all I heard about yesterday evening.
Yep. Well, it's got that subtle recurve, and I'm a sucker for recurve blades.
Yeah.
And I like the harpoon, and then that little upsweep at the tip gives it kind of a Persian flair. So, I mean, and then that grip is almost like a elongated pistol grip, kind of like on the old musket pistols. And so
correct.
It takes like all of my favorites, individual traits from knife design, and put it in one knife. And I'm like, why didn't I think of that design?
And the cool thing about that is with all of our fixed blades, you can remove the scales. So if you really want to modify and put your own scales on, a lot of people have said, can they take like the, I think it was you guys that asked last night, or someone asked last night, can they take as an example the Banshee and remove the scales and put paracord wrap on it? Yes, you can. The cool thing about all of our fixed blades is it comes with the same tools, and that is why we do it that way, so that you can actually remove the scales, do a bit of custom if you want to, change the color, whatever you want to do on it.
Very cool.
And then there's a smaller version of that coming. Gareth did a review last night. I spoke about it earlier. It's called the Jackal. You can go and have a look at that one. It's similar but different. It's got a bit more of a straighter blade. Hasn't got the grippy tactical feel on it. It's not like it. It's only been showed to Gareth, and he did a video on it last night. But it's got that same harpoon shape, just in almost like a compact version of that, which is perfect for your EDC. And that is one that we're definitely going to be producing as well. So you guys will have an opportunity to see what the original looked like, because that will be coming to this as well.
Yeah, we're scrolling through for it now. But
yeah, you won't find it on the website. You'll see it by Gareth's stuff. He had it on there.
But yeah, I'm kind of a sucker for fixed blades. It's where I started my journey in this whole world. Was well, I mean, to be completely honest, I became a custom knife maker because I had a low-paying job and I had a knife design I wanted, and I couldn't afford to have somebody make it for me. I kept getting quotes that I couldn't afford, so I was like, "Oh, I'm going to make a knife," you know. And still haven't made myself that knife, but yeah. So the fixed blades are really what sucked me in. So I always got a weakness for them.
I see.
So let me.
Okay. Yeah, we're not seeing the Jackal on the site.
It's not on the. Yeah, it's not on the website. You'll only see it on the video that was done by Gareth.
Oh, okay.
I'll pull him up.
If you look at the thumbnail of it, you'll actually be able to see it on
okay.
There. So maybe I should put myself on the spot here and ask you guys a question. So I'll share with you the two knives that I made in my whole life of knife making experience. The two that I did. I'd like to get your opinion on it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem.
So I'll show them. I've got them here, but don't laugh. Eh? So the first one is a design that my friend did. It's N690. So it's this.
Okay.
So it's N690 with Tufnol G10 liners. Got this blasted finish on this side, and then obviously with the worn Cliff straight edge. But the reason why we did this is it's just such a nice use knife. It's nothing fancy, and I did this one myself. So this is totally hand built. I don't know what you guys think of this
Very
thing.
nice.
First time, not too shabby.
I like it.
Yeah, no, that's a good knife. And you said you've only made 2 knives.
Yeah, so that was the first one I ever made. So I'll show you the second one, and this one I'm proud of. So for one of my birthdays, I got taken to one of the designers, Darby Else, and he's a good friend of mine as well. And he asked me what knife do I want to make, and I said, well, I want to attempt a dagger. Now, obviously, you would know in the knife making world, that's most probably with a hand grind. That's most probably one of the most difficult things that you can try and do to kind of get it equal. So I made a dagger N690 with elephant ivory and mosaic pins, and I'll show you now what it looks like. So this thing took me 2 days to make. I can't tell you how many times I had to start over with hand sanding from 120 up to 200 to 400 to ultimately ending on 2000. But this is my dagger that I made.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. So, meant completely in jest, I hate you because you made 2 knives, and
you know what his first one looked like, Aldo? Ask him what type of food did his first knife look like?
Looked like a banana. Looked like a black burnt banana. And so yeah, I mean, it's your 2 attempts, and your only 2 attempts are way beyond the quality of the average knife maker's first attempt. And it's it just shows that whoever taught you had an exceptional amount of skill and the ability to teach, because there's a lot of knife makers that they can make a beautiful knife, but they don't got the patience for teaching. And then there's knife makers that are great teachers, but they relay a lot of bad information because they're not actually all that great of knife makers. And it's rare to find someone who can do both. They're a great knife maker and they're a great teacher.
So the Jackal was done by this guy, the knife that we're going to make, Darby Else, and you'll see the other one, which Gareth is going to do a video on, was also done by him. And he's quite a famous knife maker in South Africa, but he focuses quite a lot on hunting stuff. And there's the Jackal. Yep. There it is. And that's the one we're going to be producing as well. So it's going to be N690 and G10. It's going to come in green and orange. But I mean, he spent so much time with me, but he's also one of those that said, okay, your grind looks nice. It's cool. But you missed a little. It's like I have to take a magnifying glass. He says, no, you missed that spot. Let's start over. And then we start with a rough, we go down to the lows and we work out. And I tell you, my hands were so sore after 2 days of hand sanding that. But that's why I said, when I made the knife and I realized how difficult it is, I said, thank you, not again. I'm not interested anymore. I won't make it. And I'm very proud of those that I made, but that's where it stopped. So this was for me really special. It is my favorite blade shape. It's what I like. I think I did a pretty cool job. We measured it. It's actually exactly even.
Right.
But this took a lot of work, and he's such a great teacher, and he does offer courses for people to go and do. But we spent the whole weekend with him. So we arrived the Friday. We ate with him. The next morning early, we were in the shop. We started cleaning up, doing everything, shaping everything, putting the scales on. I've got a whole video and photo session of the process that we went through with all of this. And yeah, this is the end result. So pretty proud of myself, but thank you very much. Never again. Too much work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I also think it's very rewarding because of the skills you gain along the way.
Oh, definitely. And you get to appreciate when you hold a production knife, you get to appreciate, or you hold a handmade knife, you get to appreciate what has gone into it because now you know.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a lot of work, eh? Yes, I tell you, it's a hell of a lot of work. And that's, I don't know, it's just, I guess that's where a lot of the passion comes from, is knowing the hard work that goes in it, knowing the small things that you have to do to make sure that that becomes perfection to the end customer. It's just bringing those two worlds together is just amazing. But thank you for the kind words. I do appreciate that. Unfortunately, I will never make again. That was my attempt, and
Yeah.
I'm done.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things. You get into it, you either love it or you don't. And
I love it. It's just too much hard work.
you know,
for me. Yes, I tell you,
I had a
work.
student once that, you know, they only ever made one knife, and I walked them through it, and of course, I did a little bit on the knife just to kind of get them started, but they did like 95% of the work, and it came out phenomenal. I'm like, you've got to be a custom knife maker. You're just a natural at this. And they're like, never again. Nope, not happening. Never again.
I concur with that
Yeah,
statement.
and I was just sitting here like, how can you do this? You know, I'm like envious of what you just did for your first ever attempt, and they're like, I don't want to do it. It blew my mind.
I see someone has said they've been trying to track down Tori Hanzo to teach him knife making. I think if you can somehow get those skills, in my as a matter of interest, in my personal capacity, I do collect Tori knives. I've got, I think, the majority of Kershaw Troopers from 79 to 96 when they stopped, all hand signed by Pete Kershaw. In my personal collection. And those are some things that are just, I mean, his knives are, and I think that's where the inspiration around the dagger came. I still like to make a dagger one day, or produce a dagger, but I'm in two minds about it.
It's a really niche design. I mean, 99% of the people who buy daggers never actually use them. They become a shelf queen, you know.
Agreed. So one of the knives that we are going to do, and you'll see one of the knives that Gareth will do a video on, is from a guy by the name of Philip Dunn. He's also part of the Knife Makers Guild of South Africa. A huge fellow. Yes, he's muscly and athletic and everything. But we're going to make an Italian auto stiletto based on his design. That's also going to be coming out. So there's going to be two potentially. One is the OTF, and then the other one is out the side. Real old school stiletto, but his design, and he made a slip joint that Gareth is going to showcase to you guys as well. Handmade slip joint that is just amazing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we've got quite a couple of nice things coming on. So I mean, again, maybe a question to you guys. Guys like us in the production field and doing custom production knives and things like that, have you seen any effect on your business because of things like this or that?
From a handmade perspective, yes. So, and there's a lot of makers that I know, and I won't drop names, but I've had private conversations with them. They won't admit it publicly. Everybody would rather keep this stigma that, you know, the Chinese knives are not up to par. And some of them aren't, but that's dramatically changing. But yeah, I can tell you a lot of custom makers have had to work harder for their sales because what you can get in the production world now, and not just from China, but from Italy, from Russia, you know, from the UK, and sadly, less and less from America. I mean, it's still there in American made, but you're seeing that go away slowly. They've stepped the bar up so high on the production level that something in the, say, $300 price range from China, the $400 from America or Italy, and the $500 from Russia is competing with $2,000 custom knives. And, you know, as far as the precision of work, the materials being used, you know, when you get into those more premium production windows, for factory knives, some doors open like doing micro runs with really outlandish materials that, you know, you typically only find in the custom world, like zirconium, Timascus and Mokutai, some of the crazy hard to get super steels, you know.
Yeah.
And that's where the custom world's operating. And so next thing you know, you're sharing your space in the market with somebody who's potentially 4 times lower in price. And a lot of guys say, oh, it's not affecting me. But I've been part of the conversations behind the scenes where a lot of guys are affected. It terrified me when I saw what Riot and Reich could do and compared it to my handmaids. I was like, I ain't going to be in business for long. And it's absolutely terrifying. But I think the custom market will shift and go back to more of the old school. And to survive, I think it'll ditch the CNC, and you'll see custom prices go through the roof, and the field of makers narrow and really shine because they go back to completely handmade.
Yeah, look, I agree with that, and I guess that's where a lot of the guys initially thought, hey, you kind of stepping into our territory now and stuff like that. But what I've seen is that people get the opportunity, or at least the designers on my side get an opportunity to step into a market that they would never be able to compete in. And all of a sudden, now they can compete with it, and it opens up new doors for them. All of a sudden, other companies want to work with them, get their designs, etc., etc. So there's still the niche market is going to be there, but I do suspect that over time, the custom designed production manufactured is going to become, I guess, more of the norm, very similar to what we do. And I see, I mean, when we started, it was like, who the hell is Pickled Steel? And now I've got and Kaiser and Bestec and Roik, and all of these guys are following me.
Right.
And like, what an honor for them to follow me. Yeah. But they obviously, I mean, they've been doing it also, but I think they're realizing that a lot more people are doing it. And I think that's where it can supplement. It will never take away the whole custom environment, but what it will do is it will actually supplement another income stream that will hopefully make up and then some for that what you would lose in the custom environment. So yeah, I mean, you do get a lot of people that don't like it a lot, but you know what? That's just where the world is going. Well, it's the same as all of the new steels. You have to accept that there's going to be changes and new technologies and all kinds of stuff like that. And if you can either go with the times or you can go back to the old age.
Well, I mean, it's like I've heard custom knife makers be like, oh, well, you know, it's not a custom knife if you're using a CNC mill. You know, these guys like Bob Terzula and the greats of the past, they're using manual machines. Okay, well, you could go back to Will and Fink and all these different guys from the 1800s. They didn't have milling machines, you know. So are Bob Lovelace and these guys from the 60s, 70s, and 80s that are the legends now, were they not custom knife makers because they didn't make it the way the Gold Rush era knives were made here in the U.S.? You know, it becomes a slippery slope where if you start to rule somebody out because they're using tools of the time, well, then you got to rule a whole bunch of people out because they're not using the tools. And you eventually get back to the only real custom knife makers were the ones sitting there with a piece of a city and then a piece of antler, chipping it away, sitting on a rock, you know, to lash to a wooden stick with sinew. Those are the only custom knife makers if you're going to go that route, you know. Yeah. And so, but one thing I have seen, and I want your opinion on it, because maybe I sound a little bit weird with saying this, but one thing I have noticed that you can't put into it, well, with a factory knife at all different levels, you can feel the quality. You know, you can pick up a knife in one budget and you can feel and experience that quality. You can pick up the next price point and so on and so forth. And you can go all the way up to Rockstead, you know, where you're paying $1,500, $2,000 for a folding knife, and you can feel, you know, why it's maybe not worth 2,000, but you can feel why it's above everything else. And
Yeah, agreed.
But with a custom knife, one of the things that's always gotten me is you pick up that handmade knife and it has almost like a soul to it. You know, it doesn't feel the same as something
Agreed.
assembled in a factory on any level.
I definitely agree with you. If you look at that Jonathan Jacobs custom that I showed just now, that has got that feel to it. It feels different than something that is done in a manufacturing process. It definitely does. And I definitely concur with that statement. It has got a very different feel to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what still makes it special. What I've also seen, and maybe a comment from your side, is that I see a lot of guys are moving towards stock removal.
Yeah.
Because what a lot of the manufacturers are doing is saying, don't worry about beating the steel. Don't worry about forging the steel. Here's the template. You go do with it what you want to.
Yeah.
We can guarantee you the heat treat. We can guarantee you everything that's on it. And I see a lot of people are moving towards that. And personally, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's great. Again, you're saving so much on that initial process. Now you're getting a blade that's guaranteed from a reputable manufacturer, etc. And now you can add your magic to it.
Right.
And I think it's perfect. A lot of people have got a big problem with that again. I don't know what your view is.
Well, I mean, like when you're talking patterned blades, you know, like if they're getting stamped out, I disagree with that. If you're trying to claim it, you know, as being a handcrafted blade, there's certain processes that I think you as the maker should do to claim credit for making that knife. Otherwise, anybody putting together a kit knife, you know, you make the handle, do a little bit of finish work, and you can call it yours. So I do think there's a standard there, but I get the step of like water jet cutting or laser cutting and a maker saying, okay, I'm going to order my steel. I'm going to make my CAD file. I'm going to have it shipped to a cutter, and I'll get a box of my pre-cut blanks to my specifications. Well, that's your design. That's, you know, you just eliminated the band saw. That's all you did. The hours of standing on the band saw.
Correct.
And I don't mind that. But the real difference between stock removal and forging is, and the reason people are going to the stock removal away from forging, is modern air hardening steels. These super steels are mostly air hardening or plate punching. Those become very difficult to forge because you have to maintain that temperature during the forging process, and you can introduce stresses, micro fractures, you get grain growth easier. There's all these things that come in that if you don't extend your heat treating process dramatically to erase all of that, and you can't erase the fractures if they get in there, it turns into a lot more work than it's worth to forge these. Because like I had a bladesmith friend, he was like, I want to try forging 3V. You know, he believed he could add strength through the grain manipulation of forging 3V. And when it was all said and done, he's like, you can, and it does come out better, but the improvement you get for the amount of effort and time invested wasn't worth it. He saw like a 1.5 to 2% performance improvement for hours upon hours of frustration, and then his heat treat cycle going from a 1-day project to a 3-day project because he had to normalize the blades so many times.
So when there's a knife show in South Africa, and I'm not sure about all over the world and in the States, but on our side, they would typically classify all of the different knife makers. So you would have your true handmade knives, which is starting from scratch with the forging and the whole kabang. And then they would have stock removal guys, and then they would have the accessories and things like that. So there's a distinct classification difference between stock removal and modifying, and actually, and whether it's your design and your blank, it's around, did you start with the steel or did you get the steel and start from there?
Right.
So we've got a distinct split in. So on the left is the handmade guys, and then on the right is the templated guys, or whatever you want to call
Right.
it. And there's a distinct split between the two. So I think that's good.
Yeah.
But I see a lot more people are moving into the, let's start with a template or a blank or something and actually work from there, because of so much that can go wrong. And I think in the old days you had a choice. You had 440C or 440C or 440C,
Right.
or you can go for 5160, 1070 or 440C. That's your choice that you had years ago.
Right.
And nowadays it's like, what the hell do you start? There's like 100 different steels, and people unfortunately don't know everything around it, because everything has to have the different temperature and the different way that you would quench it, and etc., etc., etc. And so yeah, I think it's just more difficult, that it's easier to actually churn a little bit more as a custom maker in the blank side of it, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, and and it's funny because you got all these different steels now for a nominal improvement in performance in most cases. I mean, there's always the outliers where you see some sort of dramatic performance difference, but for the most part, a lot of these steels, it's really just splitting hairs on what improvement you get,
Correct.
And but yeah, I wanted your opinion on that feel of the handmade knife, because to me that's the thing that separates the handmade from the production. Is it has almost
100%.
like a spiritual quality to it that you can't get from a production.
I mean, it's exactly the same as and I mean, I see Aries EDC also saying he does stock removal, but also I've been getting some of his designs water jet, and to kind of get a better start. But I mean, I've handled a lot of knives in my life, and there's nothing that feels like this in my hand, because my soul went to this thing literally. It's just the way that it sits and feels in my hand. It might not be perfect, it might not, but this, for me, you can feel the difference. And the same with a custom handmade knife. So I fully agree with you there. It's the difference that you can feel of that handmade quality. But again, the average Joe out there that wants something to peel a banana with, or an apple with, or an orange with, or cut some beef jerky, or use it to eat, he doesn't know the difference. He looks at the price and says, yeah, this looks cool, it looks sexy for me. And that's what he will spend his money on. And I think, again, that's where what I drew the line in the sand is saying, I'm going to evangelize to use this. Teach, get you to know how to sharpen. And then people say, oh, but what about the angle? And should I get a sharpening, the little thing that shows me the angle guide? No, dude, you must feel it. Put it down, feel the edge, and just do it. And if you stuff it up, you just start over again. It's as simple as that. And I think you cannot damage it on 1,000 grit to actually do anything bad with it. It's just, that's where I drew the line and said, if the process is so much easier, especially when it comes down to the making and the production of it, let's at least keep something old school. And that, for me, is, again, that's a little bit of me going out there into the world, is that I believe that's the way it should be done. I really believe it's the way it should be done. A lot of people might disagree, but you know what? Again, that's their choice.
Yeah, I agree with it. And I think a lot of people, like, if you want to get completely technical, carbon steels will do pretty much everything anybody needs them to do. The biggest benefit of a stainless steel is you don't have to go in there and re-oil it every couple of months while you're not using it. And in truth, as a tool, the patina that a carbon steel develops isn't going to hurt the tool. It's just not going to make it pretty to look at. So I feel the vast majority of what exists in this space is, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it is, in a sense, sort of vanity, because I see these guys and they've got their they're $600 Striders, and they're like, use your stuff, you know, and they're calling out the people with the pretty knives, and they're like, see, I'm using a $600 knife, and I know they're not using it. They're using it for that photograph to give them some clout. And, you know, some guys use it just like I use my Allen Elishewitz, but most don't. And I think a lot of it's vanity, because at the end of the day, a 1095 carbon steel blade, whether it's a folder or fixed blade, is going to do 99% of what we need to do. And it just comes down to how often do you have to maintain it and service it, how often do you have to sharpen it. Anything beyond that, for the vast majority of applications, is we want bragging rights for exclusivity of design, gadgety aspects, fidget factor, you know, how pretty exotic materials or how rare it is. And that's really what this whole space exists for.
Yep, agreed. 100% agreed. Oh, that was very well said.
And really quick, we have someone that is asking for some cowbell, addicted to blades too. So we're going to go ahead and give him some of our Legion Steel cowbell. And addicted, this is for you. All right, that is for you, addicted. So we're going to give you some real cowbell now.
Should we do the other?
Yeah, I said we give them a little bit of the other.
Okay, we got something for you guys.
Yes, we have a treat for you guys. So we know it's been requested since Marshall did his move. So the gong does not have its full stand yet, but we're still going to give you guys some gong. So. All right, so for those of you who have missed it, there it is.
It's your one and only for a little while, because
and Marshall had to hold it.
Other people live in this house.
And if you were asleep, you are now awake.
Exactly.
And our lives are normally at night.
Yeah. And we can we have no issue hitting it right now because everybody in the house is awake. So that's great. So
and if they're napping, they can be awake. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
You're not napping anymore if you had us on. But if you guys want to do the giveaway, I say, because we're over 2 hours in, so I say we go ahead and do something a little special for you guys. Again, like we said earlier, Aldo was wanting to give back to you guys as well. So we want to make sure we give him a big thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Being a part of the giveaway. He didn't have to do it, but you know what? From what we both Marshall and I have learned from speaking to Aldo, he is a great guy. He's a funny guy, a very generous guy. And I'm sure if any of you guys who have YouTube channels that would like to reach out to him to see if he wants to be a part of a collaboration with you guys, hey, give him a message. He's so easy to talk to. So yeah, just reach out to him, and Aldo, if you know he wants to do it, he'll be like, yeah, let's do this.
Anytime, not a problem.
Yeah, like I said, he's been very, very nice whenever we started talking to him and everything, because I first officially spoke to Kelly about getting Aldo on here and talking to him, because we know you guys love Pickled Steel, you love the knives, you love even the other accessories and whatnot that they sell. So I think sometimes it's just great to have, even though we're a knife company, we promote other knife companies as well, because we're not trying to make everything about us. And I think it's good to also feature other knife companies and talk to them and get to know them, because I feel like, just as a consumer myself, if I know the person behind the brand, I'm more apt to want to buy it. I want to support them, especially if I know they're a good person. And Aldo, you're definitely that. Kelly, she is awesome. She has been over here doing, a lot of hard work. Besides the paracord, the knives that she distributes for Pickled Steel, amazing. And like Aldo said, very highly respected in the knife community. And she's a hoot, you guys, so I have actually, had days where I had so much going on and Kelly messages me with something hilarious, and, and I sit there and laugh, and it actually makes my day. So, Kelly, we appreciate you. We love you. We appreciate everything that you do. So big thank you to you for all that you do for the knife community as well.
Thank you. I just wish my signal was better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bless your heart. You've been in and out, and she was like, I can leave if this is going. I'm like, no, we don't want to keep you in prison. So.
Yeah.
But so Aldo, if you want to start with your giveaway, we'll let you have the floor and tell us what you want to do there.
Good question. I'll take some guidance from you. Obviously, the giveaway. Kelly, just remind me again. I might have been half asleep last night. Joking. I think that we did say that that we're going to look at a brown couple of oro, and I think we said we're going to look at a warhog as well.
Yep.
Or was it just a couple of oro? I can't remember.
I think y'all. You said y'all were going to do. I think I had it written down. I think y'all were going to do. Where's it at? Because we were going to do a warhog, right?
Right.
Yeah, the warhog. And so I think y'all were going to do the capo.
Perfect. All right, so we can do that. What do you guys usually do for the giveaways? Is there a specific thing with numbers or something, or how would you like to?
I'll go ahead and
I'll leave that up to you guys to help me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share the screen. Those of us who participate in our giveaways, they know how we do it. Basically, as you guys can see on the screen, the chat is rolling over there. It's catching up. So what we do is we pick a hashtag. We show them and tell them what is part of the giveaway. Then we'll let you, Aldo, pick the hashtag for it. Then once the hashtag is entered into the chat by us, then at that point is whenever they can start putting their hashtag in. This will collect all of those who enter the hashtag correctly. So make sure, once again, that you spell the word that's picked correctly. And then we let Nightbot choose the winner. So, yep, that's how we do it. It's very, very simple. We don't have any part of it other than putting in the hashtag that is picked. And, yep, and then it does the rest for us. So,
all right. So I think the hashtag should be. I see a lot of recommendations coming up there.
Yep.
I like that one. I think let's go with a suggestion on hashtag pickle daddy. Why not?
So we're going to do hashtag daddy.
Pickle daddy.
Pickle daddy.
Pickle daddy.
Pickle daddy. There we go.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. All right, I'm going to put that
Nick, you're
in.
more than
I'm
welcome
going to put that
to
in.
for other people if you want.
You guys wait until I have that in, and once I do, you can go.
All right.
Put your hashtag in, Pickle Daddy. And this one is which color?
So while they do that, I see there was a question that come up. Assume South Africa and USA will be separate. That's a very good question. If someone from South Africa wins it, then yes, it will be separate. If someone from the USA wins it, we won't have a second one. So if the first one is from South Africa, then yes, we will do another one, because I'd like one of the US guys to win this as well.
Okay.
But we don't want to not have the South African guys an opportunity as well.
That's very kind of you.
We are now international. We have to cater for multiple continents and countries.
Yes. Very, very kind of you to consider that.
We got the entries just flowing in.
Yep. We are at 17 right now. They're still building. Jim Cox, Marissa, I changed top chat to live chat. All right. So we have, this is going to be for what, the brown Capillavara? Or?
The brown Capillavaro, yeah.
There you go, Jim.
Ellie, have you got one maybe close by?
I'm opening it now.
Closer than me. Just maybe to show everyone what the brown one would look like.
This will be the one.
I think the brown one is actually.
All right, I'm going to pull this up really quick so you guys can see it. Then I'll go back to
Oh,
Did she freeze?
the internet's not liking Kelly.
That one is nice. Very, very nice. All right, Miss Kelly is
Frozen
up a little bit there. Bless her heart. We're at 31 entries.
And we have 43 in now, so in the stream. So come on, people, get in. Odds are good right now.
They are very good.
Gareth, please check if my entry came through. All right, will do. Looking for.
Yep.
Gareth, yep, there you are. Right here, Mr. Gareth.
All right. I love to see when the giveaway chats start rolling like that.
Gareth says, I did not use caps. Thanks. Shame on you, Gareth.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with you?
Gareth, no more knives for you, ever.
Yeah, you only get plastic knives now, so.
Gareth, you're fired.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we are at 32. We're going to give everybody a little bit, just a little bit more time, not much, to get hashtag Pickle Daddy into the chat if you want to win the brown Capolavaro. And if you have it, okay, Colleen just got hers in. So again, hashtag Pickle Daddy. If you haven't got it in, now's the time to do it. Robo just got his in.
I think.
And Illuminati Ninja is calling Gareth a rebel.
I say it. 27, Weedy.
We're at 33 now. All right. So, yep. Another 30 seconds or so,
Okay.
and then we'll.
Yeah. So get it in now.
Billy
30
just got his
seconds, and
in.
we're picking.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
As soon as we find out who wins this, well, of course, you guys will get some gong and cowbell.
Yep.
So we have Jim and Derek. So we'll definitely come back to that. Thank you again, Jim. And again, this one is for everybody, not members only, literally everybody. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and pick a winner. So I'm going to count from 3 to 1, and we're going to find out who wins the brown Capolavaro. So here we go. And we have 3, 2, 1, and the winner is Snake Plissken. Plissken? All right. Snake, if you are in here, go ahead, respond. Let us know that you're still in here, that you know you won.
And whether you're from South Africa or the U.S.
And we are waiting. We're going to give Snake. Oh, Snake said, no way. Yes way. All right, Snake. Where are you from? South Africa or the U.S.? Let us know. Grizzle Bear Leather Crafting became a member. LSK Raider. Thank you so much, Grizzle Bear. We'll give you some gong and from Texas.
All right.
Awesome. Good old Texas. What part of Texas are you from, Snake?
Wonder if he's from the part I broke down in the other day.
All right. So yes. Snake, if you would reach out to Kelly White. Kelly, if you want to post your IG link in there, so that way you can let them know what they need to do to claim their prize with you. And let's see. Next we have the
Warhog.
Yeah, the Warhog. Now I'm looking down here, but it's the Warhog in green, correct, Kelly?
Yes, it is. That's the only ones I haven't. No. Oh, for you, yes. That's the only ones I have in stock right now.
So next we're going to put up a Warhog. This is Legion saying, hey, we're going to gift you guys one on behalf of Pickled Steel. Again, we love. Yes, he's holding it up. Aldo is. I'm going to show it to you guys really quick. That is the Warhog.
Awesome.
Really nice knife. Really nice. So both the Capolavaro and the Warhog, definitely love those. Love them, love them, love them. Okay, so we're going to let Aldo, once again, pick the hashtag. I'm going to clear this. If you want to have him pick the hashtag, I'm going to go ahead and get all of this ready.
Yeah, so whatever hashtag you want to use, Aldo, we'll go with.
I think it should be hashtag Legion Steel.
Okay.
Hashtag Legion Steel. All right, and you guys know, wait until I post that into the chat. And as soon as I do, that means as soon as I learn how to spell my own company name, we'll be doing great. And go. Hashtag Legion Steel for the green Warhog.
And here they come.
Yep.
Seeing some names I recognize there.
I noticed as well during the when we did the previous one, there was a couple of membership that was given, and I got gifted one. So thank you very much for that. I do appreciate that. I will definitely continue that. So thank you very much for that.
Well, thank you. Yep. Yeah. As soon as we're done with these giveaways, we'll celebrate you guys who gifted memberships and all. We just want to be able to do it right rather than rush it.
And Gareth is playing for Grizzle Bear Leather Crafting.
Oh, nice.
Very nice of you, Gareth.
And I see Bluminati Ninja is playing for Blind Woo as well.
Yep, Bluminati Ninja. He's something else. He is a character himself.
Yep.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
I defer to the expert panel.
Yes. Grizzle says, I thought I was already a member of Legion Steel, but I guess I wasn't. That's okay, Grizzle. If you were gifted it, it automatically expires if you don't, naturally go in there and then choose to continue yourself. So,
right.
Yeah. And Avenger 50 said, Marissa and Marshall, the ASGEIRs arrived today.
Awesome.
Glad you got them, Lance. That's awesome. We know you're probably going to have fun playing with those things, and I can't wait to see a video on it.
I so bad want to ask your opinion, but I don't want you saying anything because I want you to save it for your content.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so curious what you think.
Yes, you, Johnny. Yes, you. He goes, what? Who? Me? Huh?
Yes.
Gareth says, thanks, Legion. I see I am up to 91 subs now. Thank you. You're very welcome.
Yep.
Very, very
That's
welcome.
awesome, Gareth.
And normally, that's like whenever we're not the biggest channel out there, but normally when we promote, because our lives go into replay, you're going to still keep picking up subscribers from our replay. Yeah. So you're going to see it's going to be a slower trickle, but it'll still keep going up just a little bit. I mean, nothing outrageous. So, but yeah.
It just comes down to we've learned people like to watch our replays because we make them laugh a lot.
Well, and then we've been told that they'll binge our lives, and it's like, you guys are crazy. I love y'all, but y'all are crazy. So, but All right. Yes. You know, we love you guys. We love the knife community. There's so many awesome people out there. So if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't actually enjoy doing what I do. So yeah, you guys are amazing.
So we're at 31 entries and 39 people in the stream.
And Blue said, I will not stand for these wild allegations. So I'm going to sit down. You're already sitting, Johnny. What are you talking about?
Right? Yeah. Just concur with the expert panel. He knows what I'm talking about.
He's going to
And
keep
there's
giving.
something that I would like to say. Out of everybody and all the different channels belonging to Legion Steels, it's 99 cents a month. They are the cheapest to sign up for. Why not be signed up for it? It's awesome. So please do become part of their membership.
Well, thank you.
Yes. And the reason why we did that 99 cents is because we're completely aware that not a lot of people can, you know, afford financially things that, you know, are besides their own bills and whatnot. So it's like, we're not trying to make a killing. We just want to be able to include everybody in, especially on our like member only videos and giveaways and stuff like that. So it's just a cheap way to do it.
And it's like 2 Starbucks coffees a year.
Yeah. But if you'd rather buy me a coffee, you know, I'm all for that coffee, you guys. You know, I'd be like, sure, yeah. I'm kidding. But no, I'm not really.
She drinks a lot of coffee.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the winner because we're just blabbering on. We have a lot of gong and cowbell to do for everybody who became members. So, yeah, let's go ahead and pick the winner. You guys ready? We have 3, 2, 1. And the winner of the Warhog is Wyoming Adventures. Wyoming, Sheila was just saying, congratulations, Sheila, that she wished she could get her hands on a Pickled Steel. So guess what?
Well, now you can. Well done.
Yes. So Sheila,
Awesome.
just message me or and Marshall on Legion Steel Knives, and we'll go ahead and
get you set
up and get that Warhog out to you. And we know who you are, Sheila. So we expect your left arm, your right arm, and a blood sample.
Yeah.
So no, I'm kidding.
And she says, I'm so excited. And now I hear that song from like the 80s.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
And I just can't.
Right.
There we go. Yeah, we just gave our age away.
So one more thing, Aldo, and I don't know why, I love these for some reason, and I know you have one on hand, and I would like to give this away from Legion Steel, and that's one of your Pickled Steel knife rolls. So if you got, do you have one there?
Yeah, hold on a second for me.
I'm over here like, let's see it.
So I'll sit back a little bit. So yeah, it's made from 1200D nylon, which is a really, really strong nylon. It's got the Pickled Steel logo on it, and it's double protected. So it's got the extra thing in here. Very, very strong. It can hold 18 folding knives. They're not going to scratch on each other. It's also got a wide pocket on the one end that will actually hold a multi-tool if you want to store it in there. And the cool thing is if there's Pickled Steels in there, most of them have got the name of the model on the clip, so you can actually see it. But yeah, this is it. This is a phenomenal little roll. It's something that we just recently launched, and I think I'm holding the last 2 that I've got here. They are definitely coming to the US as well. So these are amazing rolls. And yeah, I think, thank you for that. I think that is a really, really nice, gift, and it's something that I think you can obviously use. And again, if you I'm very particular about the material, so we made sure. And this is actually all hand stitched or hand embroidered with a logo on there as
That's
well.
nice.
So
Yeah.
Little personal touch.
Yeah, and I
in there as well.
personally love that. So I was like, I kept telling him last night, I was like, I know it still has to be shipped, but so whoever, just be aware, whoever wins it, it's going to take a while to get to you, but it's worth it. But
Yeah.
I liked it so much. I told Marshall, I was like, yeah, we got to give one of those away out.
Yeah.
I really like it. So, but
I see Robo Stevo is
And that is
asking, is it
something I'm
pre-packed?
pushing for
So
to
yes,
have
it's
here
definitely
in
pre-packed.
stock.
yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely pre-packed with a lot of empty boxes.
He wasn't expecting that.
No. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'll pack it full.
I think maybe when in September we'll have our 8th-year anniversary for Pickled Steel being around, and I'm starting to think that the
Thank you,
giveaway
Gareth.
will be a knife roll with all of those actually populated with all of the most popular knives in. So I think I'm going to do something like that, one for the US and one for South Africa. So that will come up in September. So that will be a big prize.
Okay. And before we give one of those away, I want to give some cowbell and some gong to some of our new memberships. So we have Grizzle Bear Leather Crafting gifted 1 membership to Pickled Steel. So let's give Grizzle Bear and then Aldo some cowbell. Hang on 1 second. Let's give you a little bit here.
All right, here we go, Grizzle Bear and Otto. And
some gong. Yeah, let's give them some gong.
They've waited so long for the gong. It's been a few weeks. I say we get them covered today.
All right. Make sure you guys can see it. Can you see it? All right. You might as well stand there. Don't move because we have some more. We have to. Let me head over here really quick because Kelly just came back to join us. All right. I am scrolling, you guys. All right. And we have Gonzo, who became a member, an LSK recruit. Congratulations, Gonzo. We're going to give you a little bit of cowbell.
I got to have more cowbell, baby.
All right. And Gonzo, here is some cowbell for you. Actually, I'm going to try to make it as loud as possible. And of course, you're going to get the usual gong.
You're just having too much fun with that two-handed swing.
It's all right. You'll survive. You survived the journey from California to Mississippi, so you'll be all right. You can handle that. All right. Wyoming Adventures gifted 1 membership. Don't sit down, Marshall. Pick the gong back up. All right. So we have Wyoming gifted a membership to Rick's Knives, LSK Warrior. So let's go ahead and give Wyoming Adventures. So I'm going to give her a little bit of cowbell. Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you very much.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
All right, and so Miss Sheila gets some cowbell. All right, there's your cowbell. And this is the fun part. Sheila gets the gong. All right. I was like, just tuck it against you. It'll quiet sooner. I'm kind of liking this and having it on the stand, you guys. All right. And we have Rick's Knives. received a membership gift. So Rick is going to get some cowbell and some gong, but we're going to do some gong first. So poor Marshall can kind of sort of sit down. Ready? Okay. And I'll let you give Rick Gonzo, give Rick the some cowbell.
All right, let me get it.
Mick Ranger said Marshall is going to be vibrating until next week.
All right, and here is your cowbell.
Jim asked, are any teeth falling out yet, Marshall? Close.
Yep.
All right. Gareth. And El Navajero said, your neighbors are like, what the heck are they doing over there? Yeah, most of our neighbors are family, so they don't question really anything we do. So
half of them might be watching.
Yeah, Mick said Marshall just lost a lens. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do the giveaway for the knife roll.
Maybe just on that, Gareth made a comment, and it's actually a very valid one. He's sending next week all the prototypes over to the US, so I'll make sure that I get the knife roll out to him, and then it will be in the US in about a week from then. So he's not going to have to wait that long.
Okay.
I'll get a couple over as well.
Okay.
All right. So whoever wins the knife roll, you heard Aldo, you'll be getting it quicker than than normal. So yeah. That's definitely great news. So let me go ahead and pull this up. All right. Let's see. All right. Aldo, go ahead and pick the hashtag for the knife roll. Again, you guys, this is go ahead.
It has to be hashtag cowbell.
All right. Go ahead and put this in here. Hashtag cowbell for the knife roll. And you guys go for it. Yep. Hashtag cowbell. Okay.
Jim is on it like with everyone. He's like the first one up there.
Yeah.
I think next time when we do this again, or whenever I do this again, I'm going to choose some native language words.
Oh, you should,
and,
yes.
We'll see
the typos will be epic.
Yep. That's like whenever I was looking at one of like the auctions on your Facebook, and I was like, what is this person saying? And I thought first and just me.
Does the translate work on Facebook from our language Afrikaans to English?
Yeah, well, it said, to translate. So I clicked the little underline thing that says, click to translate. And I was like, oh, at first, sometimes I know I'm an intelligent person, but sometimes I can be not that bright. And so I was like, oh, that's why. So yeah. Yeah, I'm a little special sometimes. All right, we have 24 entries. Yeah. Let's see. We have 24 out of 36. So hashtag Gareth said it goes backwards. Don't be telling me that, Gareth, because I'll be trying to read that backwards. All right, hashtag cowbell. We have 38 watching, 27 entries in. You guys get your hashtag in if you want to win that knife roll. I think that thing is awesome. I'm gonna get my hands on one myself.
Yep.
Because I want to. So that thing, yeah, I like it. I like that you came out with that. That's not. I mean, you can get some like that, like on Amazon, but to me, they're just. I mean, like you can get like the leather ones and whatnot, but I haven't had any that were like, I need to have that and I need to have this one. So,
I guess what I enjoy and why we went with this is that the typical one will have that fox leather or the not real leather. The real leather ones are really awesome, but they sometimes do get a bit pricey. And some of the nylon ones that you would get is not that good quality. It will tear and things like this. And the cool thing about this, it's actually double layered.
Right.
So you can literally pour water on it. It will just run off.
Oh, nice.
And if something were to get in, because it's double layered, it's actually stitched around. You can feel it's almost like a little sponge on the inside of the two layers. It actually makes a massive difference. And again, it's just, I don't want to put something out there that's crap.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
exactly. El Navajero, he said it comes with empty boxes. So yeah, that's what you're gonna do.
Lots of empty boxes.
All right.
But what you don't know, it's a challenge to you. You have to go hunt down and buy the knives online to put in the boxes.
Exactly.
Yep. Exactly.
It's like a scavenger hunt.
Yep. And we have 28 out of 40 people now. So again, hashtag cowbell. If you want this knife roll, we'll give you about another 30 seconds. I'm having Marshall watch the clock here. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick the winner. He's literally watching it. So, yeah.
I want to play Jeopardy music right now.
And that's a good point, El Navajero. He said that's a good way to get someone to collect them all. So, yeah.
You're going to need a couple of knife rolls to do.
Yep.
All right. And we got 3, 2, 1. We're done.
All right. So we're going to, Mick, whatever.
If you haven't been paying attention all this time, we can't help you.
Yes, there is no help for you.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to pick the winner in 3, 2, 1. And the winner is Help with Gadgets. Awesome. Tommy, if you are here, make sure you reply. Let us know that you're still in the chat, so that way you can get your knife roll. That's awesome. That somebody won it. Where are you, Tommy?
Are you alive?
Is you here? Tommy to me. Garrett, that's their name spelled.
To Garrett, that's how you spell it.
He said, I'm here and thank you. Awesome.
Yeah.
There we go. Awesome.
All right.
That's well done.
Yep. So, Tommy, you already have our IG. Just holler at us and we'll make sure everything gets worked out so that way you can get your knife roll and all that good stuff.
Just remember, it's going to take a couple of weeks because it's coming straight from South Africa.
It's going to take probably about 6 months, but by then you'll forget that you wanted.
Are you trying to keep it?
That sounded very.
He's like it's making a detour through me, and it might not leave.
No, it won't even make it to me. I don't. We'll work it out with them, Tommy, and make sure that you get it. So
yeah,
but yeah,
we'll keep Marissa far away from it. She can get her own when they're more available.
Just flash a teal knife in front of me, and
you'll be distracted. Yeah,
and then I'll
or I can just like reach up and grab your rainbow leak and walk away, and then you won't know what's going on with it.
You'll get stabbed too. Sheila, yes, ma'am. What was it? Do you have a question? Oh, Johnny says, sounds sus there, Marissa. Yeah. Well, I figure if I tell you it's going to be a 6 month wait for it, that you would forget that you want it. And, I could just say, I'm kidding, of course. But yeah.
Yeah, we will get everybody sorted out on the prizes straight away.
Yeah, Help with Gadgets. Tommy, he said, I shipped a giveaway package from South Carolina to Kentucky 2 weeks ago. It's still not there. Yep. I shipped a package to Barbie, and it took 2 weeks to get to her. And I mean, it went all the way to Tennessee because I had to go from Mississippi to North Carolina. Then it went down to Kelly and then back up to,
And
it was all over.
Help is saying, what I'm hearing is I should be surprised if it arrives.
Yes. Yeah, I guess you'll get it. I mean, you know.
I'll make sure you get it. Yeah, I will. She forgets how stubborn I can be.
Okay.
She's equally stubborn, so it gets ugly. We might actually do like a pay-per-view for the fight over you getting your knife roll.
Oh, this is never ending. But yes, you'll definitely get your prizes that you win. So of course everybody already knows that. Unless the package, as Foop Doozles likes to say, if it takes the scenic route, you may not get it for about 2 weeks. So, but yeah. Oh, and Kelly's back.
Yep, the internet just does not like her.
So yes, congratulations to everybody who won. Tommy says Marissa gave you a look like that might have been a challenge.
Yeah.
So very true. And when are your t-shirts supposed to be available, Aldo?
I'd say maybe 2 months. But I don't want to promise that at this stage.
Yeah.
The process of getting this and all the different sizes and stuff like that is, we might actually want to do kind of like a pre-order thing where you can select your size and then it gets made and stuff. But obviously the logistics around it, if I've got something in South Africa, it's a little bit easier. But I guess to get the right stuff in the US, you're either going to have a selection of a lot of type of stuff, or you're going to have to understand that you might wait a little bit. But I'll communicate that as soon as we're ready.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds fair enough. But we're creeping up on 3 hours now, and I just wanted to thank you, from the bottom of our heart for being on this stream with us. It's been a real pleasure to meet you through this whole process and learn more about Legion Steel and not Legion Steel, Pickled Steel, and
he doesn't know who he is anymore.
Yeah, and your insights on the market and community and where you want to go with, Pickled Steel. So it's been a real joy.
Yeah, I think from my side as well, thank you very, very much for hosting me, and thank you, Kelly, for always jumping in and joining and just helping out and just being absolutely awesome. It was nice. A lot of the people that I saw the live was people that I've seen on other lives, and there was a lot of new faces. So I think it's the first time that I'm actually like visually showing. Usually it's my hands and stuff. So it was really nice. Thank you for the South African guys that joined, and thank you for the opportunity. I think it's just, I cannot tell you how heartwarming it is to continuously get accepted with open arms into the US market, and I truly appreciate that. And I'm just thankful for everything. So thank you guys. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And anything you guys want to know, feel free to reach out. Yeah, that's about it from my side. So thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate the opportunity.
Right, yeah, and thank you again, Aldo, for being here. It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed talking to you. You are a very sweet guy, and it's just been very easy to have that, just a general conversation. And, and I appreciate that with a lot of people, because I know sometimes people view knife company owners as they're unreachable and whatnot. And you've made yourself where you are, like you said, instead of the door's always open, there's no door there. If they have any questions, they can just come to you, ask away, whatever. And I would like to have you on here again whenever you do have like some shirts in and you've got some more, newer knives out that we can talk about and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've enjoyed having you on here. Yeah. And Kelly, as always, she's a riot, whether she can stay on long enough to be on screen.
Sorry.
It's okay. We know it's not your fault. It's the internet,
And yes, Grizzle Bear said y'all have a great weekend. And if you're in the path of these nasty storms coming, be safe.
Yep.
We may not be having our Saturday live, the normal one we have, Saturday Slice. because we have got some extreme nasty weather that's coming, and we're going to try, of course, try to be safe and not be live.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because it's looking like it's going to hit right around when the live gets going.
Yes. So, and Waylon says, anybody going live after this? I'm not sure, but I know, Rolf, are you and Barbie still going live later on this evening? But yeah, check out Barbie EDC Girl. I know she's most probably going to be trying to go live again this evening. So,
yeah.
Other than that, the usual Thursday night.
You can check out Rolf too. He's trying to make a channel, so you can be charitable.
Yeah. Well, Grizzle Bear, you please be safe too in your area. Yeah, these storms are they're going to be really bad, really bad. So, yep, says in Central Alabama. Yep, we're right here. We're more like centralish Florida. Yeah. Mississippi. I don't even know where I'm at anymore, people. So.
And all right, Adventure 50. We'll let you know if we're not going live. We're probably going to make an announcement Friday night, because we should have a good idea of where things are going to be at for Saturday, whether we want to risk it. So look for Friday evening, kind of later, or early Saturday on our community section under the posts as to whether we'll be live, because we'll keep you all updated.
Yep. And if you want to go live in our spot, be our guests. I mean, we're not going to be able to do it because we're probably not even going to have internet or power here. So, yeah, we'll definitely let you know. But right now it's looking like we're not going to be.
We're going to go full caveman.
Yeah. Because, Lance said, I'll jump in if you can't do it. So go ahead and plan that Adventure 50 to be in place of our live, because I can already tell you now it's going to be a no-go. It's going to be bad here. And Gareth says, at Legion Steel, Kelly is just eating chocolates and doesn't want to eat in front of an African kid. That's why she keeps going.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and Kelly's screen's completely frozen, so she's like defenseless there.
Yes. Ron Crow said my live stream is moving Saturday at 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Okay, is that a temporary move, Ron, or is that going to be a permanent move? But yeah, so because we can't be on, Lance said he's going to jump in our spot, which is fine. And then Ron is also going to be live Saturday, so you guys are still going to have a full Saturday lineup. So yeah, go crazy with it. But if you're going to be in the path of the weather, please stay safe. So yeah, I'm doing a lot of talking.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we covered just about everything, don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Again, thank you both for being on with us. It's been a real joy, and I hope we get to do it again sometime.
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
All right. Well, you have a good night since it's late with you, Aldo. Yeah. And Kelly, you have a good rest of your day.
Yep.
And all the rest of you, make something good for dinner and then tell us, later on what you had.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have tacos.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah.
All right, you guys, have a great evening. Right. Have a great night, and we will see you soon. Thank you for being here.
Bye.
All right, bye, everyone.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.